What's going on, everybody?
Who is that cat?
Arthur. You're just gonna stare at me? Oh.
I am, Walrus. What the hell?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is Artie of Artie's Corporate Fiction. Happy to have you guys on. We're gonna try and get ourselves back in the swing of things after a long hiatus from our regular content. So this one was recommended to me. I mean, people have asked me to cover this for a very long time. I know who Michael McDonald is. I know that other folks have covered it. Biggin covered it earlier the year, and I know Natalie covered it about 2 years ago. I recall that I did cover the now infamous incident that court cam that our Nevada judges in court cam caught captured as well. But I've never gone through the entirety of this series from the earliest video to the latest one. So that's what we're kind of gonna do today. It's kind of a more of a laid back one because there's a lot of videos, a lot of ground to cover. So this is where we're gonna go. Yeah, I know I'm looking a little uptight right now. I might be playing something in the background, but who knows? We'll see. Either way, I'm gonna have myself a little bit of a snack sandwich because I skipped lunch. So, all right, let's get this show on the road. Excuse me. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm also now finally multi-streaming on Twitch too. I just went live there. Eventually going to add Kick to the repertoire, but we'll see.
Versus McDonald D15.
Oh, yeah, so the audio in a lot of these is kind of scuffed. Hopefully y'all can hear it. Because only on the sound is only coming from the left side. So you'll want to try and switch. If you can't hear it, try and switch it to mono and see if that works for you.
518905D and T16170957T. The parties are present. Counsel your appearances for the record.
Russell Collins on behalf of plaintiff, who is present.
George McGlure, bar number 9855, on behalf of defendant, who is present as well.
All right.
Mr. Collins, may I have your bar number?
11363.
All right, everybody have a seat. This is Mom's motion to modify the court's temporary orders for custody, visitation, and child support. Mom's also asking for an order to sell the marital home. Dad asked me to deny Mom's motion in its entirety. We have an evidentiary hearing set for June 28th at 1:30. Looks like Mom applied for TPO on 4/18. However, the court determined that a hearing was necessary.
I don't think so, Jessa.
Hearing with me for today. Is that all correct, counsel?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, I guess what I am most concerned about, and let me just ask you this at the beginning. Counsel, you were both here for the last hearing,
Yeah.
Correct, Your Honor. Correct.
and I voiced some of my concerns at that time. I think I was clear about those, and that counsel understood those. I'm concerned that Dad gained access to Mom's car on Valentine's Day.
Sorry. All I needed to my food. Okay, my bad. This is a divorce case slash custody. I believe the divorce has already happened. Right now, I think it's more of a custody issue at this point, I think. But so.
Without her permission and left gifts inside of the car. Counsel?
That's not correct, Your Honor. Essentially what my client did is upon returning the child, what he did is he did put that card in the child's backpack along with a box of chocolates.
Okay.
What we indicated as far as what...
Would I understand, like, you alleged in the paperwork that is a gift from the kids, and he was just helping the kids, and I know the kids are young, and I get that. So he didn't gain access to the car and break into the car and leave those there for her?
Did not, Your Honor. No, absolutely not.
All right, counsel?
Your Honor,
Were they in the backpack? Were they not in the backpack?
they were not in the backpack. It was left in the car at
Mom's
Judith's
work?
school.
Okay.
And there's been other instances, and we don't know for sure if it was Michael that got in. There's been times where she's gone out to her car after school. The windows have been rolled down. The seat has been pushed back. The only other person that has access to the car, that has a key to the car, is defendant.
Counsel, does your client have a key to the car?
Do you have a key to the car?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Within 24 hours of this moment, those keys will be returned to counsel. Okay? Counsel, we will return those to counsel.
We keep trying to get the vehicle too, so I don't know if it's
My client would like me to indicate to the court that the parties are in a discussion anyway where there's going to be a buyout concerning the vehicle.
That's all wonderful and great. I'm happy for them to have discussion. But for right now, to eliminate this argument, to eliminate the court's concerns, all right? I told you before I'm concerned about this type of behavior, okay? You should want to say, absolutely, I don't want the keys. Let me give them to my lawyer. The fact that you don't want to give them to your lawyer makes me think there's something else going on, all right? Why do you want keys to her car? If you trade cars later, she'll give the keys back and you'll get the keys with the car, okay? You don't have to hold on to them like they're the only keys to the car, okay? You don't need keys to her car. I'm really worried about this type of behavior. It's unsafe. It's controlling. These are consistent allegations. I'm concerned. I told you this before. I don't want to hear this again, okay? Keys to counsel in 24 hours. And then I trust counsel to do with, well, access the car. All right. Okay. That's what concerns me the most. I've issued a stay-away order in this case, have I not, previously?
No, I don't believe so, Your Honor. I think the court, the TPO had dissolved. It wasn't my understanding, actually, that...
It was set for hearing today?
That was not my understanding.
Okay.
So,
Counsel?
No,
That's your hearing as well?
no, I don't believe you issued the stay away order.
Previously?
Previous temporary protective order, and you just implemented that protective order and kept that going. I
Okay.
believe that resolved, or
That
in
dissolved.
February.
Okay.
But Candace did file for a new protective order.
All right.
And Your Honor,
That's
if
what
I'm
was
sorry to
separated.
interrupt Mr. Collins, we both concede that since the last time we've been in court, the parties amongst themselves
Seems
have-
like they've been talking a
They've been
lot.
talking a lot, so that's why I don't think this TPO is going to be an issue. I mean, in terms of any kind of a stay away.
Counsel, do you want, listen, what, I can issue a mutual stay away order that excludes times where that allows the parties to continue to talk, okay, via telephone or text or email, but does not allow the parties, excluding visitation, drop-offs and pickups, to be at each other's homes or at each other's places of employment. If either one of them violates it, I'll put them in jail for 25 days. Is that a level of protection that the parties would agree to at this point? It still allows them to talk, okay? And it still allows them to exchange the children. But mom shouldn't be hanging in front of dad's office on a Monday afternoon for no reason.
Your Honor, and that's. I
That
think
okay?
I think that would be fine. I think it
Counsel,
needs
would
to
you
be-
stipulate to that?
The caveat to that, Your Honor, is that our position is that she is essentially making these things up since the last time we've been in court. There hasn't
If she's,
been.
Uh-oh.
if she's making it
Ooh.
want to stay away from the crazy lying lady, right? And you shouldn't want to be around her.
Good point.
It all up. You should say, absolutely. Let me stay away from her.
We do have that same kind of situation, Judge, in TPO cases where, well, hey, if you want to stay away, then you need to stay away. But
Look,
there has to be
this
sufficient proof for
I'm asking you if you want to stipulate to it. It's not going to be on his record. It's not like a TPO where you lose access to certain privileges. It's an order of this court that's temporary. It's my order that I could hold you in contempt for, just like any other order that I make. If you want to agree to it, I'm happy for you to agree to it. If you don't want to, okay.
She gets something, and she tries to set up something. That's one of the reasons.
Your Honor, I don't have authorization to stipulate at this
Okay. All right. Okay.
Hey, Celine.
I am, as to the change in visitation, counsel, why do you want the change in visitation? You say dad can't take care of the kids?
Your Honor, it's been a pretty consistent problem throughout this. I know we've addressed it before, but it's getting even worse.
Well, she already has primary.
The kids are. She does have primary.
So how much less do you want to give him?
Even if we just do a couple hours during the week, I know we had that before where he has a couple hours during the week and maybe Friday over to Saturday instead of 3 consecutive days. The problem is the kids are consistently coming home to Candace late at night on Sunday night. 8
Sunday,
o'clock,
it's supposed to be 6 p.m. on
It's supposed to
Sunday.
be 6 p.m.
So why would it be 8 o'clock?
Because he's late.
Okay, can't be that late. Can't happen.
Your Honor, it's only been on 2 occasions.
2 hours late?
2
Why would
hours
that
late.
happen?
One occasion was where his grandfather had gotten out of surgery. It was a family dinner that just ran a little bit late. The other occasion was
Another family.
Family dinner.
Another family dinner.
Okay, that doesn't work. Family dinners can't run 2 hours late. Sorry, done. The end.
The point I'm trying to make, Your Honor, it hasn't been a consistent basis. It's 2 occasions over the past 5
I know, but it's not 5 minutes late. If it was 5 minutes late, 15 minutes late, traffic was bad, the kids wouldn't put their shoes on and get in the car, I get it. 2 hours late, that's in your control. That's on you. That's not late. That's disrespect of the court's dang orders, all right?
And I texted another day.
There's been more than 2 times, Your Honor. There's been times where he's asked for additional time. Candace gave it to him in the morning when he was supposed to drop him off at 8 in the morning. He texts 2 minutes before he's supposed to be there saying it's going to be 9:30.
All right, look, these are all issues for the evidentiary hearing that is just around the corner, and I'm going to hear it then. And let me tell you something. 2 hours late, don't fly with me. It doesn't work with me. Family dinner, not a great excuse. You're an adult, behave like one. If you're going to ask for more time, you better be there, all right? These are all things I'm going to consider and take into consider when setting up your visitation schedule. If you two can't agree to a visitation schedule, guess who's going to make it? Me. Guess who's not going to like it? Both of you guys, all right? Your behavior has to be like parents. You have to behave like adults. You know, 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds, they're 2 hours late for their curfew. Grown men are not 2 hours late. If this was a job, you'd be fired. Got it? 2 hours late doesn't work. You got mom waiting for kids, all right? What do you think when your kids are 2 hours late? All kinds of bad things. I don't care if you texted her or not. It's disrespectful to her, it's disrespectful to the court, and it's just straight out not obeying me. And if I think you can't obey my orders, I'm going to consider that when I make other orders, all right? Do not disrespect me. Got it? If you two could take care of this problem, you would have already taken care of it. The fact that you can't take care of it means you're here and I have to solve it. I'm very frustrated with you two. I need you to behave like adults, all right? This is a case that your lawyer should have been able to resolve for you.
So I gotta say, from what I was able to find, this is the earliest known video that I've been able to find on YouTube, May 18, 2016. And the fact that the judge is already this pissed off suggests that there's a lot more that happened before we even got here. Wait, am I muted? I shouldn't be. Uh-oh. No, I'm not. I'm not muted. Oh, Mandy, I'm muted on Discord, not on YouTube. There we go.
Long time ago. I will see you for trial in June. I'm denying your request to sell the marital home, all right? I will order at this point, okay? If I need to order at the evidentiary hearing that it be sold, I will do that. If you two stipulate to list it now, you can do that yourselves. I'm not going to do that for you right now because our evidentiary hearing is just a month away, okay? I will hear all of that evidence then, okay? And I will make a determination then. I am not going to dissolve. I am not going to make that type of order right now without the sufficient evidence that I need. I'm not going to change the visitation schedule now with a month to go. But let me say this. I will consider at the evidentiary hearing, and I want to see every time he was late, every time he asked for more time and was late, every 2 hours you were late. I'm going to take that into consideration. It's a big deal to me. That doesn't work for me, okay? I expect more of you, all right? I expect more of both of you. And from this day on, until the evidentiary hearing, you will not be late.
Yes, sir.
Counsel, anything else I can do
Yes,
for you
Your
today?
Honor. We also asked for a modification of the child support order.
Okay.
Previously, at the December hearing, it was set at $200 because plaintiff or defendant was not working at that time.
All right, and he's working now?
He's been working since
I'm certain that I said then that he had a continuing duty, and counsel knows to update his financial disclosure form. Have we filed an updated financial
He
disclosure
has, Your
form?
Honor. I have received
The 414 one?
Yes, Your Honor. In addition, today, I know there was a concern because he had changed jobs just recently in March.
Okay.
I have given 2 pay stubs for March and April to opposing
Okay,
counsel.
wonderful. Thank you.
It's not too much of a difference. I think it's maybe $100 a month difference. I have
All
a
right,
copy for the
counsel,
court as well.
you filed the updated FDF, and I don't want it now, all in preparation for evidentiary hearing. I'll make the determination as to what child support should be at that time. It will be retroactive to the time you got the job, all right? And we'll work it out then, okay?
Okay, Your Honor.
Anything else?
There's also just the medical insurance, and I'm assuming it's going to be handled at the
Right,
evidentiary
bring
hearing
proof,
as well.
I want proof from HR about what the cost of medical insurance is for the 2 kids, okay, not just a pay stub, just for the kids, not for mom, dad, just the kids from HR so that we can do the calculation, I can give the deviation at the time of the hearing and that we don't have to wait for that paperwork.
Your Honor, it's my understanding our counter motion is denied too as well, requesting joint physical custody. It's going to be an issue pending trial.
Right, we're so close to evidentiary hearing, I've already made my temporary orders, all right? What, Mom?
We're so close.
Concerns about the medical neglect and them being dirty and, you know, like...
Let me just be real clear. I expect children sometimes get dirty, okay? Hold on. I expect kids to get dirty, okay? That means they had a great day and they played hard. I expect that before they go to bed, children get baths, okay? All right? And if you want to take pictures of it and bring it to me, yesterday I had to order someone to give their children baths more than 2 times a week, okay? I'll make the same order again. That's my baseline, all right? So let's do a better job, okay? Mom, we can't control everything, all right? What you think is clean and what Dad thinks is clean might be 2 different things, all right? So if you would like to leave it to the court as to what is clean and appropriate, you can. That's fine, all right? But now you know it's an issue, deal with it, okay? Bye.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Grimes, I see you again.
So that's one.
An ugly penny.
What does that mean?
Absolutely, absolutely, Mr. Grimes. Not your fault. I appreciate your professionalism and you letting the court know that he showed up.
Hey, Tones.
Vespasian may kill you, but that's a different story. I'm sorry.
We're on the record again for...
Matter of McDonald
Next.
versus McDonald D15-5.
So now we are now in May, or excuse me, we were in May. We are now in June 28th, 2016. So we're about a month later.
518-905D and T16-170957T. The parties are present. Counsel, your appearance for the record.
Russell Collins on behalf of plaintiff who is present.
All right, and so Mr. McDonald, your attorney is not here, Mr. McGlaris. Is that right?
That's correct, Your Honor. I've been trying to reach him. I believe he might be in the hospital or something might have happened to him. Yeah, he's been having back issues lately, so yeah, he's his sole proprietorship. I haven't been able to get a hold of him.
All right, the court attempted to, well, not me, but my staff attempted to contact his office. There was no answer at his office. Counsel, have you been in contact with Mr. McGlaris?
I tried to call him as well while we've been out there, and went right to his voicemail. I talked to him last Thursday.
Oh, you talked to him last Thursday?
Yes.
Okay, just a few days ago. And was it your understanding that he would be here today when you spoke to him on Thursday? I don't want to know the contents of your conversation, but...
There was no indication that there were any issues, or as far as our conversation went, we ended it with, we'll see you on Tuesday. So.
Okay.
That's a little odd.
I also talked to him, I believe it was last Wednesday, not the Wednesday after last. So.
Right, and counsel, you said you got his voicemail. Did you talk to him on his office number, or did you have his cell phone number?
I call him. It's a voice. It's a number that comes with his. It's on his email. It's the number I always call, and it seems to reach his cell phone because I've talked to him when he's been here at the courthouse a couple times.
So it might be forwarded to his cell phone.
Your Honor, he's never not gotten back to me before either. So.
But I think it's straight. Mr. McGlaris is fairly reasonable and has always made appearances in this case and in others. The court's surprised that he's not here. He's not unbundled in this case. I am going to, well, counsel, what's your request today?
We're prepared and ready to go. I understand.
Well, I guess I see the spoiler in the chat.
Whether he's going to be back, whether he's.
Yikes.
I just don't want to. I don't want to put this off indefinitely. We're ready to go. Candace is ready to just have this resolved.
I understand.
Spent a lot of time and money to get prepared and be here today.
Your Honor, I have all the documents ready, but I would prefer to have my lawyer here so we could do it.
Okay, guys, don't worry about it.
I would also ask your.
I'm not too big.
Allowed joint custody of my kid.
Sorry, pause it. Spoilers when it comes to this case. Don't worry about it too much. But moving forward, again, don't worry about it. It's all good. But yeah, I think I do remember. I do actually remember this was an odd thing that happened in this entire mess. Yes.
It's like there's no reason for me not to have.
Oh, you need to stop right now, Mr. McDonald, because there's about 100 reasons. So you probably need to stop talking and wait for your lawyer to get here. Okay? What I'm gonna do? No, please stop. Please.
Right?
Stop.
You need to stop talking. Okay? All right? Because these applications for TPOs I'm seeing, I'm very concerned, extremely concerned, gravely concerned. All right? What I'm going to do today is, counsel, I'm concerned that if we go forward today, we are going to create a situation where we just have a motion to reconsider, and I'd have to set aside and redo all of this again, and I don't want to do that for everyone involved, including the court. It just doesn't make sense. So I do want to continue it and do just a brief continuance.
A TPO is a temporary protective order, aka restraining order.
I can't imagine Mr. McGlaris obviously hasn't contacted our office. If we had any indication of any medical issue, we would have certainly contacted counsel, and counsel, I assume, if you hear from Mr. McGlaris in the next few days, you can jointly contact my office and we'll talk about scheduling issues. So I'd like to set the evidentiary hearing and trial over just for a brief continuance. I know that the parties, and it sounds like even Mr. McGlaris was prepared to go forward, and so we shouldn't need a very long continuance at all. The court can accommodate you next Wednesday afternoon, the 6th. Does that work for you, Mr. McDonald?
What time, Your Honor?
At 1:30 in the afternoon.
I do have work. Is there any way that we could do it past 4:30 or 4 o'clock, or no?
It will last for a few hours, and so the court can't start at 4:30 or 4 o'clock because we go into the night.
That should be okay. Yeah.
Okay, so 1:30 on the 6th. Counsel, does that work for you?
Yeah, that should be fine, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll see everybody back 1:30 on the 6th. I am going to ask, I'm going to have my staff attempt to leave a message for Mr. McGlaris and counsel. If you hear from him, I want to hear from you both jointly on a conference call before that date, okay? And that's just for scheduling issues. The parties don't need to be part of that conference call. I want to determine if Mr. McGlaris can go on the 6th and what the nature of his absence is. Certainly give him the benefit of the doubt today. All right. I do want to deal with a couple of issues just briefly. I note that there were a few two applications for TPOs that were filed since the last time you were here. You were just here May 18th. Mr. McGlaris was here at that time. Mom applied for a TPO June 3rd, 2016.
Your Honor, may I speak to that, please?
Not yet. And I just want for everybody to see where we're at, and then I'll hear from each of you. The court, the hearing master there, denied the request for a TPO because the DV hearing.
Mandy, thank you for the $2. Give Winston belly rubs and consider a new kitten. I've already said before that I do plan on getting Winston a companion. It's just a matter of when. Maybe a Christmas thing. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm leaning towards.
The hearing master felt that it could be addressed at the hearing coming up today. I don't want to move past today without hearing that issue because I'm gravely concerned about the allegations. So I've read the application. What I'm going to do is ask to swear in the plaintiff, her to tell me what happened and the reasons why she's applying for this TPO and the things that have changed since the last time I saw you in May. And then I'm going to swear you in and let you respond, okay? I'm going to tell you from the outset and remind you again, I'm very concerned. In this case, Mr. McDonald, in the times that I've seen you, I've expressed that every time I've seen you. I've expressed that I'm concerned that you're controlling. I'm concerned about your behavior every time. And what
please tell me that's not the real BSBT. Come on.
I think that I'm seeing is that behavior increase and get more serious.
All right, we're good.
And the court feels as though it might need to step in to resolve that. Okay? So let's swear you both in.
Hey, Taco, thank you for the $2. I remember Bearded Dragon. McDonald's insane. Yeah, I heard he's definitely a character, and that's putting it lightly. But I don't know. I mean, part of me wanted to get a lizard, but I don't know. I don't think so. But Yoshi's pretty cute, though.
Right. Please raise your right hand.
Do you and each of you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Everybody can have a seat right where you are. Counsel, I'll let you conduct any direct that you have of your client.
And we're just dealing with the
just with the
issues
TP issue.
right?
Yes, just those issues raised in her application.
Candace, can you just state your name for the record?
Candace McDonald.
You applied for a protective order on June 3rd, correct?
Yes.
What was the reasoning for that protective order?
My son had come home from visitation on Sunday, and at that time he had a little toy that he was playing with, like on the car door of my handle. And I asked him, I was like, hey bud, what are you doing? And he said, I'm tracking you like daddy. And I said, what is that?
What? What? Oh man. Ah, kids these days.
And he said, daddy has a tracker on you. And I was confused because my son is 4. So I asked him to elaborate, and he said that Michael had showed him on a map that he could follow my car, and there were blue dots, and he thought that it was really cool. And he wanted to follow me like daddy follows me. And so I asked him how he felt about that, and he said that he felt scared to tell me the truth because Michael made him promise not to tell.
Why would you? Yo, not only does this guy sound really messed up and really, 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 really dangerous, he's also an idiot. Why would you tell a young child something this massive and expect him to keep a secret like this? Are you dense? Look, it's bad. Don't get me wrong, it's bad, but I'm like, why would you tell this to your kid?
And he also said
dangerous and incompetent.
If he did tell, that the judge would put him in jail. And I have never talked to him about a judge or any of this divorce case at all because he's small. So I asked him what was a judge and what did he mean by that, and he said the judge in your divorce. And so he proceeded to stay up for the rest of the night and worry that he made the wrong choice by telling me the truth and was concerned that his dad was going to go to jail. So after I put him to bed, I called my parents because I was very concerned, and I honestly didn't even really know where to look for a GPS device, if that was really true, and also I'm like, maybe he's confused, I don't know. So I Googled a website to see where it could possibly be, and the website said to check
under the wheel well
in the engine or in what's called an OBD port, which is where you get
a
log check. And so I went out to my car and I noticed that there was something plugged into the OBD port.
Oh.
But I don't know much about cars, so I was still like, I don't know, is that a part of my car? I took a picture of it, I sent it to my parents. My stepdad knows a lot about cars, and he even said, I don't know what I'm looking at. They were out of town at the time. So my parents told me to call 311 and ask what I should do. And 311 advised me to take pictures of whatever it was, and they said that I could remove it if I felt threatened, which obviously I did. And so but they said don't remove it unless someone is present, so that you have someone with you. And I'm like, okay. So my stepdad said, you know what, we're going to be home tomorrow. We'll come take a look at it. I know a lot about cars. So they came the next day, and the plug that's plugged into the OBD port has a lot of cords coming out of it. And then there was a part that was up under the skirting of my car. So he popped that off. And when he popped it off, a GPS device fell out. And on the GPS device, there was a piece of electrical tape over the flashing blue or green light that was on it. And we took pictures, and I obviously felt very scared because he's shown up to places, the gym, other places where I haven't told him where I'm at.
Like what I said to him, what other places?
Let me see if I can think of one off the top of my head. He when I filed the original protective order, he was saying that he was going to come to my house and calling me saying, I'm across the street from your house at Lone Mountain, I'm going to come over. And I said, I'm not home. And then he replied with, yes, you are. I know you're home. And so then I was like, how does he know I'm home? Like, unless he's driven by my house or is watching me somehow.
I'm in your house.
How does he know that? So I called the police because I was naturally really afraid that he might do something, especially because he's bipolar and he owns guns. And so I was concerned. I'm still concerned. I'm still afraid that he's watching me. Before this, I had a previous cell phone that he was tracking. I got rid of that cell phone because I knew he was watching me. He would send me texts saying that he knew where I was at or who I was with. He installed cameras in my house. The old house that we owned together, I was feeding my daughter and I looked up in an air vent and I noticed a flashing light. I reached up in there and pulled out a camera. He had cameras on the outside of our house. So ultimately, and this isn't the first time he's tampered with my car either, he pulled a fuse from my car, which he admitted to at the last TPO hearing. And so, and he's been abusive in the past, and so I'm like literally afraid for my life. So I applied and it was denied. I filed a police report and I spoke with the domestic violence advocate and they told me to refile. They were like, the police said there was nothing they could do because the property hasn't been split. So technically, legally, there was nothing that they could do. But Detective Ray told me to refile and he encouraged me to attach pictures and any text messages or anything else that showed that he liked stalking behavior. And up until that point, Michael in one day added me on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. When I asked him to stop doing that, he continued to text me over the course of the last month, asking me to go out with him, asking if he can see me, asking me if he can talk to me on the phone. Like, no matter how many times I've asked him to leave me alone, he won't. And so he has a theory that I have a boyfriend, and he's constantly questioning me about who I'm seeing or what I'm doing or where I'm at. And then with the GPS device, you know, him knowing my every move is just really scary. And I'm afraid that he's going to show up somewhere or do something or hurt me or hurt the kids. And
is your stepdad here today?
Yes.
All right. Sir, will you stand up? Your stepdad? Oh, he's outside. Shall we get him?
Can I speak to this, please?
A moment. I'm going to give you an opportunity to speak. Sir, can you come on up here to the witness stand and raise your right hand to be sworn?
Want to raise your right hand, please, sir, before you say?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony
Hey, Giselle.
this action shall be the truth,
I have an idea of what to expect.
truth, so help you God?
I do.
Sir, will you state your name for the record?
My name is Daniel Dixon.
Will you spell that for us?
DANIEL
And how are you related to the plaintiff?
She's my stepdaughter.
All right, counsel, go ahead. Will you just ask him some questions?
And I'm going to show you a device. Have you ever seen this before?
Yes, I have.
What do you recognize this to be?
It's his tracking device.
Okay. Do you know where this device came from?
It came from Kansas' car.
Okay. Did you help Candace investigate to find the tracking device? And what did you do to help Candace?
Candace was kind of asking me to kind of look underneath the front end of the car so that to see if I could see anything there. And when I did, I got underneath the steering wheel column, and there's a place where you plug in for your smog device, and that was plugged into it, and then the cable went up and underneath a skirting that was right there by the pedals, and the square piece was laying up on top of there.
Let me ask you this. That was in the interior of the car?
Yes.
All right, so it wasn't under the hood. It was actually...
Inside the driver's side compartment.
Thank you.
Do you remember when that was?
When I found it?
Yeah.
3-4 weeks ago. About that, 3-4 weeks ago.
Do you remember when Candace notified you that she believed there was some kind of device in her car?
She called us. We were in Phoenix, and she had called us and told us that she was trying to figure this out because of what our grandson had said to her, and so she was trying to diligently find this thing. And we got on the computer from there, going back and forth, and kind of figured out that that would be a proper location for it. And when I got there, it was there. It was plugged in.
Are you fairly familiar with cars?
Yes.
Had you ever been inside Candace's car or looked inside Candace's car before this time?
Many times.
For what reason?
Same reason. She early on, and when they first got separated, she felt she was being tracked, and we finally discovered that it was her phone. But we were looking in the car and stuff, trying to figure out if there was some type of tracking device in it. But she had some type of tracking device put on her phone.
Okay. And when you were looking in, when would that have been, roughly?
That would have been probably last summer, probably also right around November, December again. A couple times we were trying to figure out, things just weren't adding up, so we're trying to figure out what was going on.
And when you were looking in her car at that point, did you see this device in there at that point?
Absolutely not, never.
I don't have any further questions.
Right, thank you, Mr. Dixon. I appreciate your testimony. Counsel, do you have anything else to add in reference to the TPO today?
Well, I think there's been a pattern, like Candace has addressed, there's been a pattern of her vehicle being tampered with, and even if Your Honor recalls at the last hearing, when Candace advised the court that somebody had been in her car at school in February, dropped off Valentine's packages and different things, and your court ordered Mr. McDonald to get the key back, which he was very reluctant to do. We don't know if that's because this device was in there, he wanted to get it back before he had to turn over the keys or whatever it may have been. But it's just the ongoing issues when a TPO has been issued in the past because of tampering with a vehicle, and the activity continues. There's legitimate reason for Candace to be concerned.
Counsel, I read in the application that on the device itself was an indication of the owner of the device, and the owner of the device was the same party who is the defendant's employer.
That is correct. His new employer.
Can I see the device? Thank you.
You'll also notice that on the front of that device there's some grayish black tape that covers up a...
Wait, did he say that he got this thing from his,
Also, we believe used to conceal that it was even in there.
he got this from his employer?
Thank you, counsel. Mr. McDonald, is there anything you would like to add? I'll remind you that you're still under oath, but you can remain seated.
Your Honor, may I speak? So, first of all, I have never told my son anything about a tracking device, nor have I showed him something on the map saying, oh, here, I'm tracking mommy. That is a complete lie and falsehood. I have never said that to him. And him trying to say that exact phrase as a 4- or 5-year-old that he just turned 5 is a complete lie. Like, there's no reason for it. As for the tracking device, I've always had tracking devices on both my vehicles. I work at a telematics company. I have always had tracking devices on both my vehicles. I've also been part of testing him, part of our Canadian group for testing the devices. So, and she was aware of it as well. She's always known there's tracking device. She may have forgotten about it, but I was doing testing back when I worked at Street Telecom, and they are always that Geotab device that I was testing along with other tracking devices. So I've tested that. Another thing for the cameras, I've always had cameras in my house. She was aware of that. She had our neighbor was broken into. The cameras were installed so that we could watch our neighborhood and also inside. Another reason for the tracking devices, it was our neighbor's SUV was actually stolen. So we just bought this SUV, and I'm like, oh, Candace, we need to make sure it doesn't get stolen. So hey, we're gonna make sure that it's tracked and everything. So obviously she didn't remember that the...
Wait, so first he denies that he told his son what he said. And second, he admits that there being a tracker in there, but he said it's for these other reasons. It's for all these various reasons that they're worried about getting stolen, He's worried about it getting it's part of his work or something like that. The problem is that whether or not let's even assume that all of what he's saying is true. The problem is he's using work access. Let's assume all of that is true. He's still utilizing his work access to stalk her with it. There's evidence suggesting that he's using it to stalk her with it, even if there was an already existing legitimate reason to put the tracker in the car in the first place.
Devices were there. So, and is it illegal to track your own vehicles? No, that is also my SUV. And
oh my God! I can't believe he actually said that. Oh, you moron! Oh.
She almost took the SUV and almost ran off a cliff. There's damage to SUV after a night of partying at the Mount Charleston with her friend that's actually here, I believe.
Why would you say that out loud?
A very emotional thing. It's been a year. There's so much to it. I'm an awesome dad. I love my kids. There's no reason for me not to be able to see them. And
that doesn't mean you're allowed to stalk your soon-to-be ex-wife.
And she knows that. She's also been getting these TPOs to bolster her claim for primary custody.
What we're talking about today is the TPO only. Okay. So from what you're told me is that you placed the tracking device on the car.
Your Honor, there's always been tracking devices on them.
And you placed them on that car?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And there is also I actually have paperwork from my employer stating that we are required to have those tracking devices in our vehicles. So
I'd love to see it.
Sure.
Your Honor, I've never seen this document. I'd like to have a chance to look at it, if at all possible.
Sure.
Shuffling ASMR. Usually I only hear these shuffling and paper shuffling like in like, you know, one of those ambient channels that there's like the 10 hours like in a an Arcanium library, ambient. Am I the only one who listens to that? Okay, never mind.
It starts on the second page here. And then there's a picture of...
I think right now they're just interested in that particular document.
There's a picture of the tracking device in my vehicle as well as the damage to the...
It's... Ed 209 asked, should they be continuing without his lawyer present? I mean, it is odd, but it does seem like, as far as I understand, he may have assented to going without the lawyer present. If he consents to it, then shouldn't be too much of an issue. It's that's his risk. He doesn't have a right to an attorney, true.
I also have journals stating the mental condition of her and things. It's really concerning my kids.
Right now, just let him read it. One second time.
Your ex-wife's what mental condition is not really relevant right now.
from this stall.
Yes, yes, BSPT. I mean, stalking is the ultimate demonstration of love, right? Don't, no, Mandy, don't clip that. Oh my God. It was a joke. It was a joke.
Your Honor, is it against the law to track your own vehicles?
Anything else you want to tell me
There's a lot to this, Your Honor. Just
regarding the TPO today?
TPO, Your Honor, it's baseless. I have never threatened her. I've never said anything concerning or anything threatening. She's only used this against me to try to get primary custody of the kids because she doesn't have anything else to use. So we have had a period even up to March where we were getting back together. I'd go to her house. She'd come to my house. We were working amicably for the kids. We'd call the kids every night. I was able to talk to them, and I would do the same for her. We've been working out everything. Everything's been fine, and she's been trying to deny me my parental rights to my kids, and just to use these TPOs is crazy. It's like there's no reason for it. I've never been abusive. She was in fact the abusive one. She was hitting me and punching me.
Oh shit. She's the abusive one. Okay, look, I'm trying my best. It's hard not to look at this in objective when you kind of know a little bit of the story. It's hard. I'm trying my best to look at it through an objective lens, but it's really hard to do it when you kind of know a fair amount of the story. But anyway,
I've never done anything. I've had to restrain her a few times. I admit that. But I have not done anything that warrants a TPO or trying to take my kids away from me. I love my kids. I've never been abusive. I'm a nice and honorable guy. I would never do anything like that.
Although the more you keep having to tell people that you're nice, you're a great dad and everything, the less I'm going to believe you. You demonstrate your parental abilities by talking about actions you've done, not self-proclamations
like that. And for her to use this TPO in the court to try to say, oh, you can't, now I'm going to take your kids and so that she can get money, it's completely baseless. So I'm asking Your Honor, like just please disregard this, and this is something that should not be used against somebody, because and she also knows the law as well. She used to work as a divorce lawyer, Shapiro Group, when she was in college. So I also have text messages threatening, hey, I'm going to get a TPO against you or I'm going to get a restraining.
And he now is kind of like throwing everything. He's throwing everything out there, about her, about her vindictiveness, her motivations, but we're kind of not. He's trying to not talk about the allegation, which is him putting a tracker on I guess their car, not her car, but their shared vehicle, and using the tracker to stalk her with it.
Order against you if you don't do this or if you don't give me my money. So it's like it's just a case of money. It's like it's retarded. We need to work what's in the best interest of the kids and try to be good parents for them and co-parents, and that's it. There's no other reason for us causing conflict in any little thing that could be used. So and then trying to say, oh, you've done this and that, and there's a lot, Your Honor. I have pictures and document, especially to her mental state and capacity of wanting to kill herself, using drugs. Like, it was very concerning.
I mean, how do you go from we've been trying, we've been talking, we've been doing... He constantly flips back and forth between talking about how they've been working amicably to attacking her character, to going back to talking about how they're working things out, to back to talking trashing her character.
as for the first TPO that was put in place and disabling the vehicle, she almost crashed the vehicle. If you look at the document of the damage to it, she ran off the road, almost running into the ravine. Luckily, a pole stopped her from hitting it off there. She could have died, like, from partying and drinking that night, like, and that's when we were separated. So, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have disabled the vehicle. I was very concerned about the kid's sake, and for her, after reading these journal entries of, oh, I'm going to run away. I want to kill myself. I don't want to live anymore. And I have proof of this too, Your Honor. Like, and it was never even heard in the first TPO hearing of her doing drugs and everything else. I have proof of that as well in journal entries. That I was going, while we were separated, I'd go to the house and watch the kids. She would go on dates and stuff, and it was very emotional, Your Honor. And it was
How dare she?
I mean, this was. I made a mistake by doing that, and that's the only thing she could use against me. Hey, I'm going to get a police report. I was in a very emotional state for her cheating on me and finding out that she loves this bipolar guy that has no car and job.
You're rambling.
This is all stuff that's been hashed out before. It's
Oh.
Well, and I've explained to both of these parties before. You're getting a divorce, one way or the other.
I understand that.
Nevada is a no-fault state. I don't care who was a bad husband and who was a bad wife and who said what and blah. It's not my business, all right? My business is...
Damn it!
Plan.
That got me really bad.
Anonymous just donated 100. They said this is my last splurge before I start a financial diet. Happy holidays, Artie.
Thank you, Anonymous, for the $100 tip and giving me a heart attack. Oh my god. Oh. Thank you. I appreciate it. Happy holidays to you too.
For your family to move forward, all right?
That's all I want.
So,
That's all I want. For my kids.
you're getting a divorce, okay? I don't care who she's seeing or who she's dating, or I expect it's taking an emotional toll on you. That's what happens. You don't have to tell me that, okay? I have a couple of questions for you. I want you to answer them.
Yes, Your
You
Honor.
indicated that you've disabled the vehicle in the past. You indicated that you placed a tracking device on the car previously. Have you been actively tracking her since the two of you have separated?
No, Your Honor, I haven't tracked her, nor have I have better things to do with my time than
Okay,
track.
so you have not utilized the tracking system
Uh-oh.
through GeoTab. You have not accessed that software since the time that you two separated.
Since the time that we separated, can you reframe the question? Like
Okay.
since we've been apart, have I not?
Yes.
Like I said, I'm the IT guy for the company.
Have
so
you accessed
Have you
the software?
answer the question?
It's being tracked automatically, Your Honor.
Have you seen it?
Have you?
Have you gone on?
We do reviews of it sometimes, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So you've looked to see where she's been?
There's been occasions I track my own vehicle.
And there now he admits it.
Kind of a yes or no. Yes, I have looked at where she has been, or no, I haven't looked at where she's been.
Your Honor, I've tracked my own vehicle, yes.
You track her in that vehicle?
That is my vehicle as well. Like, I have tracking devices on both vehicles.
Oh, stop being so weaselly.
Your vehicle and tracking yourself. You can do that all day long. My question is about her and the vehicle she's driving, pursuant to my order.
So I will admit to this.
Oh, am I tracking her?
My friend was over, my guy friend.
Oh.
And my dog starts barking like crazy. It's around midnight. He's about to leave. He's like, "What the heck's going on?" So we look out the window, and we see this car going off. And that's when this is when she found the tracking. She remembered that there's a tracking device. So she said, "Why?"
Oh, was that a slip? Did he just slip right there? And he just said, and that's where she found that's where she remembered that there was a tracking device on there. He slipped. Oh no. Oh no. Oh. Why?
Candace, do you have a girlfriend over? I'm like, no, I don't have a girlfriend over. I have a friend over. Would you know that too? How would you know? And was that you when the dog was barking? I saw a car going out. I looked out my window, and that in that case, I did ask that, and my friend can attest to that as well. Like he was there, and that after that, she's like, oh, maybe there's a tracking device in my car if I remember. And she brought that up to me in conversation over the phone. Like, there was a car in front of your house around midnight. What's she doing driving past my house at midnight? Like,
Are there any other instances where you logged on to see where her car was, other than that one?
there was a few other occurrences.
So we go from no. So we go from no. Or to, well, it's part of my job, to, well, it's my own car, to yes, to yes a few times.
Of both vehicles, it'd take a lot to explain, but I don't do the software side. I do the hardware piece of everything of the company. So I'm not as familiar with everything, but yes, it can be tracked. It is, whenever the device is plugged in, it tracks the location of the vehicle.
I understand that. I'm asking you whether you got on the computer or your iPhone or whatever it is and access the information.
Have I ever did none? Yes.
Since the separation.
Both of it, yes.
Okay. She indicated that you sent her some concerning text messages.
Nothing threatening. That was the time when we were trying to get back together. I actually went over her house and spent the night and kind of,
Wait, what?
And I have text messages for that as well. So she invited me over, so multiple times. This was actually recent too. This was back in February, March. So yeah, and then after the thing blew up, and I have other text messages I can show to that as well. So it's been an emotional thing. Sure. So.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell me?
Please don't.
TPOs, she's been using them and threatening them the whole time. There's nothing in me that wants to track her, cause harm to her. She's the mother of my children. I just want what's best for my kids, and what's best for them is for us to co-parent and be good parents to them.
I'm just an ex-con trying to go straight and get my kids back.
Anything, if she wants to go with all these crazy guys that she's been doing, even guys that have contacted me, which has been crazy. It's just there's no reason for it. There's no reason. I'm done with that. I don't need to be with somebody that's going to do that. I wish her the best on that, and I just hope that we can be friends and good co-parents for our kids. That's it. But that's going to take a while to do. So that's all I need to say. Like, there's no other reason for these TPOs, and I have not been doing anything that warrants it. So.
Counsel, briefly.
Yeah, there's a lot in there, but the main issues I want to touch on is the tracking device. The email that it was been provided today, it's dated this month, and it does say that employees can use these in their vehicle. Doesn't say anything about their spouse's vehicle.
Okay, so I thought the vehicle was currently being shared between them, but I guess not. It's now her vehicle. Because I thought they were share. I could have sworn like last month they said that they were sharing the vehicle, but maybe I'm wrong on that.
And it should be noted that he didn't start working for this company until March. And so if that's this company's policy that was in place in March, then that tracking device had to have been put in sometime after March. And I don't see any reason why, based on what I read in that email, why he can't do exactly what he needs to for his company, tracking his own vehicle, which is apparently what they want to do to test.
Oh, okay. Oh, then he got a company car.
There's been a lot of allegations about Candace doing drugs and partying and driving down the canyon. It was all stuff that was addressed in the initial TPO hearing. That all the allegations were proven to be false. And Candace is not a drug dealer. She's not a drug user. She's not an excessive partier. She takes care of her children and goes and teaches school. That's basically the essence of it. Also, with the tracking devices, one other thing, Candace had her car, the smog down on her car in August of last year, 2015, and the device was not there. So we're not exactly sure when it got placed, but Just the getting back together, that's never been with us. We've produced evidence with our reports, with our motions, that he's tried multiple times to get back together with Candace, and every time her response is no. Leave me alone, quit talking to me, talk to me. If you want to talk to me about the kids. And it just keeps going on and on and on and on. And here we are again addressing the same thing again. It's been over a year where we've been told about all this evidence that's out there, all this evidence about her partying and everything, and not one thing has been produced. And here we are ready for trial, and we haven't received anything.
Your Honor, can I speak to that as well, please?
Just briefly.
So, first of all, I do have evidence I presented to you in all the court documents. If you could review the journals and the other pictures that I submitted, they weren't looked at. There nothing, the drug use, the mental instability. She was the aggressor in all every instant that we had. She has severe depression. She has PMDD, which is post-periodical dysmorphic disorder, which causes severe mood swings. She also is bipolar. She has a history of punching and hitting and throwing jelly jars while the kids are there yelling in front of them. I'm really concerned for my kids, and they're saying,
jelly jars.
To me, Daddy, I want to stay with you. I don't want to be with Mom. Like,
oh my God!
She's spanking me, Mom. Like, I don't know what to do, Your Honor. Like, I'm very concerned with her. Like, she always would be hitting and punching. I don't want her doing that to my kids or in front of the kids. I know that she's.
Remember, this is primarily about the tracker and not about the back and forth between the kids, the parenting. This is about the tracker.
Been in counseling, and I hope that she's making progress there. And I have journal entries to all this, and I beg if you could look at those and try to determine that. Like, there was no means to which I had to stop the abuse in a lot of ways. And if you read, it's a lot stemmed from her father and the beating her mother right in front of her.
Jesus.
Just having all kinds of different issues that just an emotional roller coaster of this marriage.
All right. Okay. What I'm going to do today, everybody sit down. I'm going to issue a ruling. While I'm talking, nobody else is going to talk. All right? You're going to listen. I'm going to give you the parameters of this ruling. I'm also going to set a temporary order. It's going to be temporary until we come back next week. Okay? I am very, very concerned. Right? Your behavior is not consistent with what you're telling me. Okay? Since the first time I have seen you and I have seen this case, my response to you has been the same. I'm concerned. Okay? Your behavior is very controlling. It is not stopping. It is getting worse. And that worries me significantly. A 4-year-old just turning 5, doesn't know what a tracker is, shouldn't know all of these things. There's only one reason for them to know about a map and a blue dot and a device on the car. Okay? That concerns me, that you're teaching your son to behave in a way that is controlling, that is disrespectful to his mother, and is contrary to my orders. From today forward, there will be no tracking of any telephone, of any car, her car. Counsel, you'll keep the tracking device in your possession until further order of the court. There'll be no speaking on the telephone between the two of you, no texting. You will utilize Talking Parents exclusively. We will give you both the pamphlets today. Mom, you have 48 hours to set up the account. The account is free of charge. It will ask you.
Talking Parents sounds like a specialized peer-to-peer application that allows the parents to talk to each other, but is controlled by, I guess, is controlled by a third party, and probably has a lot of recording and tracking to ensure that the parties are saying what is claimed to be said. So,
for Dad's email, you'll put Dad's email into it. Dad, you'll get a request, and you'll join that account. Okay? I'll be privy to all of those communications, and those will be concerning solely your children. Okay? And nothing else. You are not allowed to talk about anything other than your children, and that is it. I expect for those conversations to be professional.
God, I gotta put my laundry in the dryer.
As though you talk to a coworker or your supervisor. There will be no talking about any other subject and no inappropriate comments. Do you understand? That order is until further order of the court. I am today issuing a TPO. In addition to issuing the TPO, I'm issuing a firearms order. Defendant Michael McDonald shall not possess any firearms until further of the order of the court. You have 24 hours to make arrangements. There will be no firearms on your person, in your home. You will not have access to firearms. Do you understand?
Your Honor, I actually go shooting with my buddies all the time. We're in an IT shooting group and stuff, so I ask you not to do that. There's no reason for it. I've never made any threatening.
The reason is, and let me remind you again, that the court said I'm talking now, and that nobody will interrupt me. I've heard the evidence regarding the TPO. I have presided in this case for months, seen the increasing behavior that concerns me. I have been concerned about this case for weeks. You keep me up at night, Mr. McDonald. Your behavior is concerning to me.
Why, Your Honor? Why? Can you explain that?
All right, for the last time, do not interrupt me. Your inability to follow my orders concerns me. I am concerned. I cannot express to you how concerned I am about your behavior. Over time, it's increasing. It is controlling. You don't get to know where she is, okay? You don't get to track her car. You don't get to track her phone. You don't get to disable her car, okay? All of those things are very inappropriate. And one of them, taken alone, like the Valentine's Day incident, that taken alone, I can give you the benefit of the doubt. But when I see a pattern of behavior over months, it's difficult for me to give you the benefit of the doubt. Do you understand? It has to stop. Temporarily, visitation is absolutely suspended. You're to have no contact with the children until further order of this court.
Your Honor,
we will see you next week for a hearing. We'll see you next week for the hearing. There'll be no visitation
So Dale, thank you for the 5 Good Day memberships.
until then. I am concerned about your behavior. I'm concerned about your access to your children. I'm concerned what information you're giving them and your behavior while they're in your care. I cannot explain to you any more. I have given you my thought process. It is your choice. God! Chosen course of conduct in life.
Sat Hale just donated 100. They said, is it dry yet?
No. Sethale, thank you for the $100 tip. The answer is no. It is not dry yet. I literally just started it, but thank you very, very much for your very generous tip. No, they're not dry yet.
In this case that has resulted in this order. If, for any reason, counsel, there is anything, any violation of any order I've made today, and counsel, I want this order to be signed within 24 hours. You're walking out with the TPO today. You get me that order this afternoon because I'm going to sign it. Because you're going to have a copy of it in your car at all times, in your house at all times, and at your school at all times. Any violation of this order, I want to know. And I will put it on calendar within 24 hours, and somebody's going to jail. I will put you in jail for 25 times for every violation, okay? It's not sinking in. What I've told you from the outset of this case.
Got Annex Ball, you gotta change the audio to monorail versus stereo, unfortunately. The thing is that I know the particular channel where a lot of this comes from a channel that tends to be very I hate the word father's rights oriented, from guys who have a belief that the system is rigged against them. against, basically that they come from that instance. And while I will say that there might be, I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been in family court. It might be in like the, it's been about a decade since I've been in family court. It might be that the stigma or the bias may have changed. So you could say that there was, but I don't know if it exists anymore. The problem is that this is the worst case to try and make this claim so far.
It's simply not sinking in, and I've given you the benefit of the doubt after the benefit of the doubt. You're not learning. You're continuing. Mr. McDonald, my punishment will be harsh and swift. Please understand that I'm very serious. She will be safe, and your children will be safe.
May I speak, Your Honor?
No.
Nope.
I want you to really listen, because I have this distinct impression that every word that I've said since the beginning of this case, you did not listen to.
Probably not.
Today you listen. We will see everyone back on Wednesday. Counsel, as soon as I hear from Mr. McGlaris in any fashion, I want to have a phone conference just for scheduling so we can confirm that we're going forward next Wednesday and confirm his health condition. If it's something that is serious and we need some more time, I want to accommodate that. And so let's the three of us discuss that. So if for any reason you have any information about him or someone from his office contacts you, please let me know. All right? And I will, my office will contact you if we hear from Mr. McGlaris. All right? Thank you, counsel. I do need that order relatively quickly because I want to sign it very quickly. Thank you so much. Good luck to the parties.
Anything else? There's nothing.
This is the matter of McDonald versus McDonald, D50.
All right, so now we are a week later. Last week it was June 28th. We are now on July 7th.
T518905D and T16170957T. The defendant is present. Counsel, your appearance for the record.
Russell Collins appearing on behalf of the plaintiff, who is going to appear telephonically.
Right. Everything has been telephonic today. Do you have a phone number for her, counsel?
I do.
And if you'd like to waive her appearance today, I'm happy to do that as well. So it's up to you.
That's fine. We've got the phone number. She's ready.
Okay, well, let's call. We'll get her on the line then. And you two can have a seat.
So one of the stipulations was to surrender his firearms. Okay. I guess I missed that.
Uh-oh. Ms. McDonald, we're on the record. Mr. McDonald is present in the courtroom along with your counsel.
Oh my God.
Ma'am, I'm going to ask you to either, if you're not able to put the children in another room or have somebody to watch them, I'm not going to allow you to participate via telephone, as we don't routinely allow children in the courtroom. I wouldn't want them to hear any part of what's going on today.
Okay, no problem. I'm stepping out right now.
Thank you. Counsel, this is on today for Mom's motion for an order to show cause and for attorney's fees. I've reviewed your request for show cause and granted your request for order shortening time. As I indicated previously, I would be inclined to do. So you didn't file an opposition. I understand that was on an order shortening time, and that time was short. So today...
Judge, may I speak, please?
No.
Okay, one moment. I'm going to finish talking, and then I'll give you an opportunity to speak. If you would have an opposition, I'm going to allow you to tell me that opposition now. However, I want you to understand the seriousness and what I expect you to tell me and the consequences of certain things that you're going to tell me, okay? I understand that you don't have counsel right now. And so I'm going to make sure that you understand this, okay? What they're asking for is a show cause hearing. The show cause hearing won't be today if I grant it. It will be sometime in the future, okay? At a show cause hearing, I would make a determination of whether or not you receive a fine from the court, or you go into jail for 25 days, or I don't hold you in contempt.
Okay, so wait, did she say this is determination of whether or not he violated the TPO? Or that he damn it, I missed it. Hold on.
The show cause hearing won't be today if I grant it. It will be sometime in the future, okay? At a show cause hearing, I would make a determination of whether or not you receive a fine from the court, or you go into jail for 25 days, or I don't hold you in contempt of court, okay? So today I don't want to hear from you whether or not you did what...
Okay, so this is for violation of the TPO. It was June 28th, and we're July 26th. Or excuse me, we're at it was the hearing was on June 28th, and this hearing is July 7th. So it took him barely a week, probably not even a week, before he allegedly violated the TPO.
They said you did, okay? Because you don't have an attorney representing you. There'll be another day for that, okay? Today, what I'm looking at and the decision I'm going to be making is narrow, okay? Whether or not they have a sufficient showing for me to set a hearing, okay? Take your hands out of your pockets. So that's all I'm going to look at, all right? They have an email from you with a date on it, okay? And so I'm going to make a determination today if that's sufficient for me to set it for hearing. I don't want you to tell me today, okay, whether or not you sent it, or why you sent it, or what you thought, or what your intentions were. I don't want to know that today, okay? That can incriminate you, all right? What they're alleging you did is also a crime, okay, for which you could be prosecuted by the state of Nevada and sentenced to jail, independent of my jail sentence. So it's very important that I tell you this and explain this to you today.
Wait, what do you...
I want to hear from you whether or not you sent it.
Wait, in addition to violating the TPO? Interesting.
Okay? I don't want to hear about what your intentions were or what you feel or any of that. I have a legal standard, whether or not there's sufficient evidence for me to set this for hearing. Okay? So if you want to address that, I'm happy for you to address that. I am not going to remind you again, okay, of what I want to hear from you. I'm going to let you speak. Okay? Go ahead.
Careful.
Judge, first off, I'd like to motion for a continuance as I received a summons at 4 p.m. at work yesterday, and I talked with some attorneys, Lee Lefty and a couple others, and also seek some counsel or recommendations from my cousin and uncle Bonaventure and stuff. I could not retain counsel, nor have I received any funds from my previous counsel that has killed himself. So I want to be able to say that first of all.
So that's what. Well, I guess that's where we find out that his prior counsel, the reason why he didn't show up last time was he apparently unalived himself. So.
Secondly, Judge, I do want to say that the message emotional and miss my kids. I recently talked to my pastor and friends, and I realized that it should not have been put in place. My attorney recently committed suicide, and I've lost my counsel. Like, I've been it's been very pressing on me. After finding out the court date was moved in August 16th, and I might not get to see my kids for over 45 days, it was unclear when I would see them next. I was emotional. In the future, I will only talk to Candace about the kids and not be controlled by emotions. I'll respect whatever you say, Judge, and I would appreciate you giving me as much time with my kids as possible. I love them very much, and I want nothing else but what's best for them. So, with that being said, I'd also ask that is there any law saying that she should not bring the kids out of state, like bringing them to California or running, like abducting or abducting kids? So I believe she's taken, from what my friend has told me, but she is president, and if you'd allow him to speak to, he has a good message about how I am as a father and how much I love my kids. But I believe she's taken my kids and ran or moved. I don't know what she's doing. She's also been posting things on Facebook and things about our court case to her almost 700 friends. So I'd like you to take that into consideration, and please, Your Honor, don't. I just want to be able to see my kids. I'm a good dad. I'm very emotional in the process. My
I'm a good dad.
We're in your court
Yeah.
as well, being you being the judge for them, and you just determining ruling on that recently. So there's been a lot of issues going in my life, and especially with my attorney going through this. I just ask that you please take that into consideration, and please just let me see my kids, Your Honor. Love them and do what's best for them, and leave emotions out of this.
You're not really helping your case, though, if you're violating the order.
Your Honor, there's been a lot of allegations, innuendo, in this particular email that was sent that caused great concern, especially after Your Honor was very clear at the last hearing with what.
So I thought I was extremely clear. I thought I couldn't be more clear. I thought I was just the clearest possible. That was my intention.
And that's what we thought. And to have this happen less than a week after that hearing is very concerning. And some of the stuff that was said in that, and
Specifically, counsel, because this is a long email, please highlight what you're most concerned about.
Uh-oh.
If you look at,
We're getting the email text.
I believe it's on page. Consequence number 2 in page 6 of 8 of the email.
I will do whatever it takes with appeal court or whatever have you, even bringing it to the Supreme Court and changing the laws so that no other father will have to experience what I'm going through right now to earn what is rightly mine, joint physical custody of my kids, even if that involves me selling everything or taking drastic steps. Is it the drastic steps concerns you?
Drastic steps?
The next little paragraph.
I'm even willing to live with friends if I have to, where you end up with nothing after everything is said and done. And no, I'm not playing.
That is probably the most concerning. He makes several allegations throughout of the kids hating Candace or growing up to despise her while they're
So threatening to poison the children against them, that's gonna get you in trouble again.
Threat there, there's an insinuation that he is the one that's going to turn the kids against Candace if she continues down this and keeps fighting for her children's rights and to keep them safe. Those are the most concerning parts of this email for Candace.
Right, counsel, anything else?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. I just it's just concerning that we're here just less than a week after our last hearing. There have been some other emails that weren't. If you look at the addendum that we filed, there was an email sent that he was going to come to Candace's parents' house and pick up the kids on Friday. And that was another reason we wanted to get this on.
In violation of my order.
So not only sent this ranting 8-page email in violation, he also sent more emails in violation because again she had ordered that the only way that they're going to be allowed to communicate is through this this software program that the state runs. You couldn't even do that. Naturally.
Judge, may I speak to that?
No.
It's Exhibit 6 to our addendum.
I see that. All right, anything else, counsel?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Right. Mr. McDonald, do you have a response?
Yes, Judge. It was very unclear after the court date was moved, as we were to reconvene on yesterday on my daughter's birthday. I was trying to see. I sent through Talking Parents when to verify that I can have a birthday party on the 9th. I didn't get a response to that. I also called your chambers because after they postponed it to August 16th, it seemed like I wouldn't be able to see my kids for 45 days. So I called your chambers and asked, is there an order in place that said that I can't have my kids? Your clerk or whoever the person that answered the phone, I believe it was Lisa. I don't remember the name. She told me that no, there wasn't an order and I should still be able to see my kids.
We don't have anyone that works for us named Lisa. None of my staff would ever tell a litigant something that litigant can read in writing. My minute order says, all previous orders shall stand. That means all my custody orders stand.
Custody orders
from the last hearing. Okay.
Okay, because I was under the impression you said I'd be punished for this weekend and I can't see my kids.
All right.
It was very unclear and I did not have that order.
All right. I'm going to be real specific today. Everyone that leaves this courtroom today will understand how we're going to move forward, and I will make sure that they understand how we're going to move forward. What else do you want to tell me today?
I really want to ask, is there any law saying that Candace isn't allowed to bring the kids out of state? Like, I'm kind of pretty concerned about that in Facebook and slandering me online and stuff. Like, I don't believe that's right. Like,
are you requesting me to seal this case or issue a gag order? Is that your request?
Yes, Your Honor, that and possibly in order for her to bring the kids back to Nevada. Like, I don't want her staying out there in California or something away from. I have proof of this too, like of her leaving or whatever. Like,
all right, let's address.
Your Honor, if I could address that real quick.
Okay.
That causes even more concern. Candace has gone on vacation with the kids. She's a school teacher here. She's not going to abandon her job and take the kids out of state. She went to visit some family. The fact that defendant knows exactly where Candace is right now is very, very concerning to me. We've never told him.
Oh no!
Concerning that he, after the last incident with a tracking device in her car, the fact that he knows exactly where she is very, very concerning.
Judge, my friend told me about this. He showed me the Facebook thing. I have the printout here, and it was concerning. I didn't know where my kids are at or what they're doing, if they're okay. Like, it's very concerning to me. And just where's my kids? What are they doing? Are they okay? Like, I have to think about this. The actions that Candace has taken and the craziness that she's are the things that have happened. So, I'd really, if you'd like, I'd like my friend to speak if that's possible.
That's not an issue that's on calendar today. I will give you some guidance as to that issue, but I'm not going to hold a hearing or hear testimony or evidence about it today because it's not on calendar. All right. You both can have a seat. Let me make this very clear. All right, have a seat. It's unfortunate, the circumstances that surround your legal representation at this point, and the court is certainly concerned about that. Certainly don't want you, Mr. McDonald, to have any negative consequence because you were left without notice, without counsel, okay? The court continued your evidentiary hearing on its own based on the news that your attorney's passing, surprising passing, okay? That is so that you could obtain new counsel or prepare yourself to represent yourself, okay? It would be unfair to you, for you to have to represent yourself or for a lawyer to come in and represent you with just a few days' notice, okay? If that lawyer had asked for a
Thank you, Sakuda, for the 7 months.
them a continuance, and counsel would have certainly allowed them that continuance, okay? So, hold on. What I was doing, and this is the time I really want you to, again, we've talked about this a couple of times. Instead of thinking about what you want to say to me right now, you've had an opportunity to talk to me. Okay, now I'm talking to you and giving you my order and some guidance, all right, to benefit you. I want you to listen to that and not interrupt me, okay? Do you understand that? Okay. So I continued the hearing 30 days to give you sufficient time to find new counsel or prepare to represent yourself, okay? During that time, and my minute order is clear, that my previous orders stand. That means that the order I made eliminating your visitation stands until the hearing date. You can request at that time make-up visitation. But at the last hearing, all of the reasons why I gave you to suspend your visitation temporarily remain. Remember again, now is the time for you to listen. You had a time to talk, okay? I don't want you to interrupt.
Don't interrupt her.
I don't want you to interrupt me. I really want you to understand, to remember that I told you at the last hearing, I'm concerned you are not listening and you are not understanding my orders, okay? You continue to violate them. That's why I think you're not listening, okay? And when you interrupt me, I'm concerned because I don't think you're understanding what I'm telling you, okay? I gave you opportunity to speak, and now I'm telling you my order. I am not going to reconsider this order, okay? This is my order, and then the hearing is over, okay? So now I need you to listen, okay? I suspended your visitation because you admitted to disabling her car. I'm concerned that you placed a tracking device on her car. That while that tracking device was placed on her car, you accessed the tracking information. I am concerned about you placing Valentine's gifts in her car while she is at work, all in violation of my orders. As I have told you, not just at this hearing, but at other hearings, I am concerned by your behavior. Domestic violence and stalking are of great concern to the court. And this type of behavior is not consistent with what you are telling me, okay? So the words you are saying here in court are on one side. Your behavior is the polar opposite, okay? This recent email, in direct violation of the court's order, just days earlier, after I took the time to explain my concerns, to explain my order, you totally disregarded the court's order in such a fashion that there would be wonderful evidence of it. An 8-page email dated and signed by you.
Damn.
So that shows me not only did you absolutely disregard the court's order, that you didn't care if you were caught. Because you knew you would.
Also true. The fact that he put his name on it.
As I said before, the pattern of this behavior is increasing in its seriousness and its frequency since the beginning of this case. I am gravely concerned about your behavior. This is about the third hearing that I've told you that. And you don't seem to understand that. You cannot have any contact with her other than talking parents. And at talking parents, you may only discuss the children. So let me be very specific and revisit my order. There is a temporary protective order in place. That means you are not to be in the possession of any firearms. Not one, not any kind. You're not to be in a house with firearms, right? You will have no access to firearms while this TPO is pending. You are not to contact her, okay? Via Facebook, Snapchat, email, text message, telephone, smoke signal, third party, in any way. You laugh, but you've already violated it, okay?
True. It's funny to me,
Not
but because I'm not on the hot seat.
absolutely any contact with her. Do you understand that? The one and only place and the only method that you
Hey, Big and Raid. Welcome, Raiders.
that site can be looked at by the court.
Thanks, Biggin.
And by counsel. Counsel will certainly print off all of the records of that communication, and he will certainly present them at trial, and I will consider them. Okay? The type of communication that is appropriate on Talking Parents is about two things: Mason and Malia. And that's it. What I don't want to see are emails like the one that counsel brought to my attention. When you talk about the children and the impact of the divorce on the children, that is not appropriate conversation for right now. What is appropriate conversation right now is perhaps Mason isn't feeling well, and I took him to the doctor, and this is what the doctor said, and this is the type of medication prescribed by the doctor. She can tell you that information for right now, okay? Perhaps there's a schooling issue. I know they're young, all right? Perhaps there's an issue at school that the two of you need to discuss, okay? Or a religious issue about the kid's upbringing for right now that you need to discuss.
Did you say Morse code?
That the decision has to be made right now, okay? Those things are appropriate for discussion right now. It is a business relationship.
Thank you, Jenny.
Between you and the plaintiff. You will speak to each other like you speak to coworkers or to a supervisor, right? This type of
Welcome, Raiders.
Email discussing consequences, and that the court's very concerned about you will end up with nothing. I'm not playing. Taking drastic steps. It's very concerning to me. All right. Very concerning to me, okay? I've expressed to you my concerns. All you are doing is proving them to be correct by this sort of email. In direct violation, you are
She's giving him the same 1 HP voice that he's been doing this whole time.
Here in front of me just days prior, and I thought I couldn't be any clearer about what I expected from behavior from you. And I was wrong. No contact. Not 100 yards to her place of employment. I don't want you 100 yards from the kid's school. I don't want you 100 yards from her residence. Do you understand? I specifically said you're not allowed to track her via tracking device. Okay? I am concerned, Mr. Very concerned. That is why, on a temporary basis, I suspended your visitation, because you cannot comply with court orders. You've shown me over and over that you cannot. This is the 6th application for temporary protective order in the history of this case.
Oh my God.
It's concerning to me. I must protect your children in the only way that I can. What you tell me in the courtroom and the words that you say are not consistent with your behavior. To me, behavior speaks much louder than
Ladybug.
I need your behavior.
Thank you for becoming a member.
If you show me you can comply with the court orders, okay, that you can do what you're supposed to do, that you can communicate in the way that the court orders, the outcome could be much different than the temporary order. I have given you the opportunity time and time again to do that. My concerns regarding this case get greater and greater as time goes by based on your choices. Your choices, your chosen course of action, okay? I need for you to obey the court orders. I am granting the plaintiff's request for order to show cause. I'm setting the show cause date at the same time as the evidence.
Don't say anything.
I am going to, counsel, I'll need you to prepare the order to show cause. Attached to the back of that, a jurisdictional affidavit.
Yes, this is in Las Vegas, Ed.
The specific order and the allegations.
Clark County, I should say.
In addition, I am going to set a status check date for 1 week before the 18th, okay? At that 1 week date, I will, for confirmation of counsel. So if defendant has counsel, I'd ask them to appear on that date to confirm that they'll be stepping in on this case. If the defendant does not have counsel on the 18th, I may, pursuant to recent Supreme Court rules, appoint him counsel for the sole purpose and the order to show cause, okay, hearing. That person would represent you just in the show cause hearing, okay, not in the other hearings and everything else we have on calendar. Do you understand that? So they would represent you only on that issue, all right? They would not represent you on any other issue on that date, okay? However, if you have counsel and you've hired a new attorney, they may represent you on everything. That's why I'm going to set that date on the 18th. Let's set it at 8:45 on August 18th. Any other questions? Oh, I'm sorry, your date is August 16th. Excuse me. So let's set it for the 9th at 8:45.
Judge, may I speak to?
Certainly.
Goddess, I will give that update Friday. So, but thank you for the info.
Judge, last year around this time, I was unable to bring my kids on a family fishing trip up to Duck Creek. We plan this every year, and when we bring our kids up there, their cousins and everything, we teach them how to fish and have a good time. I really need that time with my son this year to bond with him and to be there and teach him how to fish. And
you messed up.
Really changed my life going up there.
No, you messed up.
Having that community, being able to teach and being among nature, so I really feel like it's really important for my son to be. Talk to Candace about that as well, and I feel like she feels that way as well, but I don't know how she's feeling at the moment. But it's very important to me. It's also important to me to know what's going on with my kids and if they're okay, what they're doing. Like I'm their dad. I want to be present in their life as much as possible, and I really feel that it is not best for my kids not to be able to see me. When they're with me, I'm all about them. They're my kids. I take care of them. I don't put them in front of the iPad or let them watch.
That's when we're watching and tracking mommy's car.
Your Honor, I would never do
Ooh.
I would never do that to you.
We'll hear more about that at the evidentiary hearing. But those are my concerns.
I have never
Remember
done
at the last hearing, I was very concerned that you showed Mason the blue dot on the screen.
There isn't a blue dot, Your Honor.
And
She's
that
lying
you
about that.
you wanted to track, and he wanted to track mommy's movements just like daddy did.
There's no way.
That is very concerning to me.
It would be to me
It
as well.
is one of the reasons I temporarily suspended your visitation. That order will stand.
Your Honor, would it make sense for me to tell?
At the evidence.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. My son.
Many of the things that you've done in this case don't make sense to me, Mr. McDonald. When I hear all of the evidence at the evidentiary hearing,
Yeah, true, Tones.
I am totally wrong. And at that point, I would grant you make-up visitation. But that's your burden to show me, okay?
See, that's the see. This is the problem. This is one of the very frequent issues when it comes to family court that really does suck for all parties involved. Is that when you have a parent who keeps messing up and keeps doing stupid crap, part of some of the punishment that can be afforded to him is the suspension of visitation. But the problem is that it's generally it's the state's interest that a child should have both parents involved, mom and dad. But what if one of the only motivating or was it deterring punishments that you could do is to deny visitation? So it's kind of a competing issue that the state has to grapple with in these cases. It's never clean and easy.
Not being able to see my children.
My temporary order will stand. I'm not going to allow them to go out of state with you or Mason to go out of state on the 6th based on the issues that are present in this case.
It's been 2 years. This will be the second year that I'm not able to take my kid.
I understand your concerns, and it sounds like a wonderful trip, and that Mason would benefit from that. All right, and we'll make that determination when we come back for the evidentiary hearing. All right, I will see everybody on the 16th, and on the what date did we set for? August 9th at 8:45 for confirmation of counsel. All right?
Is there any way that I can see my kids before?
No. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No.
We're off the record, ma'am.
Yeah, it's a good point. He was complaining about her taking them out of the state, but then he wants to take them out of the state.
President, counsel your appearances for the record.
Calling bar number 11363 for plaintiff who is present in court.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Mark Anderson, bar number 606, appearing for Attorney Kurt Smith on behalf of Michael McDonald, who's present.
All right, good morning. Is there anything administratively we can take care of? We've concluded the custody portion of the evidentiary hearing trial, and we'll move on to division of assets and debts. And everybody can have a seat. Can we stipulate to the universe of what those assets or debts are at the outset, or?
I think counsel and I talked, and we thought that we may just need to put a little evidence on.
Okay.
There's some contested facts. Yeah, I would remind the court the last time we did request a closed hearing on this matter.
All right. And so we'll ask everyone to leave the courtroom except for, statement except, either party's immediate family under the rule. Counsel, what type of brief testimony do we anticipate just from each of the parties as to those things? Or is there any other witnesses regarding assets or debts?
I don't have any witnesses with respect to assets and debts.
Right. All right. So other than the parties themselves? All right. Can we start with the plaintiff, or does that make sense?
That'd be fine, Your Honor.
Ma'am, why don't you come up to the stand? We'll swear you in again today.
Yeah, it looks like we didn't get the hearing from the 16th. Could that may have been the one that was taken down? Because we're now on the 25th. Tupac, thank you for the $10. Appreciate it. Welcome, man.
You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Go ahead, counsel.
Real quick, Candace, can you tell us what are the assets that you acquired during the marriage?
We purchased a home.
Let's start with the home.
Okay.
Where is the home located?
It's off of Jones and Cheyenne, 5813 Maynard Avenue.
Do you remember what the purchase price of the home was?
It was $84,000.
Do you know how much is currently owed on the home?
It's about $72,000.
Do Do you know what the home is worth now?
Yes, it's worth 100 and 120.
When you first got the
Sorry, 170.
70,000.
170.
When you bought the home, did you purchase it on a specialized loan?
We did have a down payment assistance program with that. They gave us $15,000 to help with closing costs.
Is there any money still owed with regard to that?
I believe so. I think it's 3,000 that's left. Like, so if we were to sell the property, we would owe that back as a loan, but there's only 3,000 left owed because we've almost occupied that house for 5 years. So after 5 years, we wouldn't have had to pay it back, but since we're at year 4 of owning the house, we would owe that 3,000 back.
And what is your intent with regard to the house?
I'd like to sell it.
Who is currently living in the home?
Michael.
And then would it just be your intention to just split the equity equally? Are there any personal assets inside the home?
Yes.
What are the assets inside the home?
All of the marital furniture and possessions.
Could you list what those possessions are?
There's a bed, there's a dining room table, there's a couch, TV, Xbox, both kids' beds. So there's Malia's crib and then Mason's bed.
I keep glitching out. I know I'm getting Comcasted here and there. Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Shucklers, for the $20 super chat.
And what is your intention with the marital assets within the home?
I like to split them. I mean, when I left with nothing.
Other than the home, what's another marital asset that was purchased during the marriage?
Our car, our SUV.
And what is that SUV?
It's a 2011 Mazda CX-9.
Who currently has the SUV?
I do.
Has that been your primary vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember how much you paid for the car?
21,000.
Do you know how much it's currently worth?
It's worth about 13.
Do you owe anything on that
Yes.
at this time? How much do you owe?
4,000.
And what is your intent with regard to the SUV?
I'd like to sell it.
There goes half my audience. Thanks a lot, Comcast. Oh well.
Any other vehicles?
Yes, we purchased Michael's car.
And what is his car?
It's a 2001 Mercury Cougar.
Is there a mortgage on that?
No.
How much did you pay for it?
6,000.
Do you know how much it's currently worth? What would be your intention as to with the Mercury Cougar?
I mean, it's his car, you know, but if there's any equity to split it.
Do you currently have a retirement plan? Are you aware of Michael does?
Yes.
Do you know what that plan is?
It's a 401k.
Is that through his current employer?
I don't know his current situation, but I know when he was with the city of Las Vegas, he had 401k, and then before that, he had 401k. So pretty much since we've been married, he's had a 401k.
Do you know what the value of that 401k is?
It's probably about 30,000 at this point.
What would you like to do with the 401k?
Split it.
Do you remember when you first separated from Michael?
Yes.
When was that?
Not this May, but the previous May.
And when you left in May, so that would be May of 2015.
Yes.
Did you take any cash with you when you left? How much did you take?
$2,000.
Where was that money located?
It was in a safe.
Were there any other items in the safe?
Yeah, like Social Security cards and marriage certificates and things like that.
Are there any other assets that we haven't discussed that need to be distributed by the court?
Yes, my wedding ring.
Do you know where your wedding ring is?
In Michael's possession.
Do you know what the value of your wedding ring is?
About $4,000.
And would you like that? What would you like to be done with the ring?
Just split the equity.
That are within the home, the beds, were those the children's beds?
Yeah, two of the beds are the kids' beds.
Okay.
I stopped the
Yes, we had.
I stopped the Twitch stream to see if that works. Nope, it's not working. Right when I said it, I just saw it sputter out again.
To split that stuff up and just separate it equally. Any other assets that we haven't discussed?
Well, it's not an asset, but I'd like my journals back. My personal writing.
Any of your personal property returned?
Yes.
Anything other than the journals?
Oh, there's my grandmother's lamp. It's a Tiffany's lamp.
Lamp?
A lamp, yeah.
Was that a gift to you from your grandmother? Anything else that we haven't discussed?
No.
Do you have any debt that you acquired as a result of the marriage?
Yes.
What debt have you acquired?
$11,000 in credit card debt.
What credit card is that?
Citibank credit card.
Any other cards?
I have a JCPenney card and it has $1,000 on it.
Any other debts that you can think of?
Well, I mean, I paid for the daycare. Would that be considered a debt?
What? When were you paying for the daycare?
I paid for 2 months in.
Could object as far as what she paid. The question was debts. And
Never. It always happens to me. And
debts, not child expenses.
She's asking for
hopefully,
relative to an order I made. I'll allow the question. Go ahead.
So there was 2 months, August and September of last year, and then there's a current charge at the daycare.
sorry guys.
So I paid for those 2 months solely, and then I paid my portion of the daycare currently, and there's an outstanding balance still.
How much is the daycare?
At the time then, it was $1,189 a month. So that was 2 months of that, and then currently, because it was just for Mason and Malia for this week, her daycare will start next month, but that portion is $169. So I paid $169. There's a balance of $169.
And that's for this month?
Yes.
Have you incurred any medical expenses for the children?
Yes.
What medical expenses have you incurred?
There's been an ER visit for Malia. There have been 3 quick care visits for Malia, and then I've paid all of their medical insurance premiums since we separated.
Do you know what that premium payment is?
Yes, it's $440 a month.
Does that include yourself?
Well, it's free for employees, but it's like a package deal. So then, like, an employee plus 2 kids would be $440. But yeah, I'm free because I'm a teacher.
And how long have you been making those payments?
Since we separated, May of 2015.
Do you recall how much the ER visit cost you?
Yes, it was $250, and I still haven't received any like follow-up bills from that. So, but it was $250 on the spot. That was my copay.
What about the 3 quick care visits? Do you remember how much you paid for those?
One of them was out of state, so it was $120, and then the other 2 were $50. That was my copay.
And has Michael contributed to any of those?
All right, let me see if I could find a
That you can think of?
emotional support kitty.
It
were you getting any child support before December when the court ordered child support to be paid? Any other debts?
Well, just that, like, from
Nah.
December when the 200 was ordered.
He's in his little cubby hole, and I'm not gonna take him out of there.
So there's that portion of like what he should have been paying, and then I don't know. Is that considered a debt?
I think we've already addressed that in the proposed order, so I don't think that we need to go in that far.
Yeah, other than that, I think that's the only other debt we have.
Okay. I've got no further questions.
Counsel?
Yeah, started kind of backwards from where you finished. You saying there's child support arrears owed?
Yes.
Have you completed a schedule of child support arrears for submission to this court to document what you claim is owed in arrears for child support?
I have not. I've just been waiting for instruction on that.
And you said there was some unreimbursed medical expenses from insurance. Did you submit those to Michael?
Yes.
When did you submit those?
As soon as they happen within 30 days.
And when did you do that?
Within the 30 days of whenever they were.
Month, year?
Well, this recent visit, I submitted it to my attorney, and gave that information over to him.
My question was, did you submit it to Michael, not your attorney?
I did submit the other 3 to him, yes.
When did you do that?
I can't remember the exact date. There was one in December, there was one in March or April, there was one recently when we were in California, as well as the visit to the ER, which was recently.
Okay. And looking at your proposed exhibits, trial exhibits, are any of those submissions contained within the 28 exhibits that you've submitted to the court for consideration for this trial?
I'm not sure.
Would you like to look?
No, thanks.
Why wouldn't you want to look to see?
I'm just
these
don't
are
understand,
documents?
like, why, like, you know.
Who asked her if she'd like to? She said she wouldn't like
She
to.
did answer the question. Now I'm asking why.
I mean,
Why
if they're
wouldn't
not
she
in
like
there,
to?
then they're not in there.
Does somebody
so
really like to look at our exhibits, counsel? I don't know.
I'm not really sure, Your Honor. So, as far as you sit up here on the court testifying today, you're not aware of any documentation to support any claims for any of these medical bills other than your testimony?
Well, I've submitted them to Michael, and I've submitted them to my attorney, and I'm assuming that he's submitted them to. I mean, there's been
You're
also
asking
a lot
my
of
client to
changeover in between, like, attorneys too. So maybe his old attorney had it. I don't know.
We're not comfortable with assuming that. We want to know if you've submitted that to the court.
I've submitted it to my attorney.
And that's all you can say?
Correct. Yes.
And if you were being asked to pay bills by Michael, you would want the bills to be submitted to the court, so the court knows what they are and sees documentation of them, correct?
I would be fine if they were submitted to my attorney.
All right, so if I told you Michael submitted to me a bill for $8,000 or $10,000 in money taken from the safe, you would be fine with that?
I'm sorry? I'm not following.
If I were to represent to you that Michael has submitted documentation to me concerning $10,000 being taken from the safe, you would be fine with that?
No, because that didn't happen. But if it was regarding my children and medical, and it was my portion that I had to pay for, I would definitely take that and pay for my portion of it.
But you said when you left, you took $2,000 from the safe.
I did.
How was that money denominated?
How does it nominate?
Denominated. What denominations of cash? I assume it was cash, correct?
It was cash, yeah. I don't remember. 20s, probably. There were some hundreds in there, probably, too.
And how did that money happen to end up in the safe?
We put it in there together, and there was quite a bit more that used to be in there, but wasn't when I took that money.
You were, in fact, saving up for a yard for the house. Isn't that true?
No, I was saving up to leave him so I could escape.
And did you tell Michael you were taking cash from the safe?
No, but he had $7,000.
Ma'am, if you could just answer my question. Did you tell him that you were taking money?
I did tell him, and he got angry and moved out. So.
Well, you just, when I first asked you that question, you said no.
I'm sorry, I'm stressed out with these questions.
Trish,
yes,
thank you for the 7 months, and thank you for your condolences.
Was there a journal kept of the monies that were placed in the safe?
I still miss him.
A ledger?
Well, I'm always going to miss him. What am I saying?
Refresh your memory. you seen this document before?
I have not seen it.
Do you recognize handwriting?
No, I don't.
So, you testify.
Just 1 second.
I don't know. Winston misses him too. I can tell. Not just the yowling and everything, but at bedtime, it always seems like he's looking for him.
What portion?
On the bed, wondering where he's at.
And what is the circumstances that you came to make this handwriting?
I have no idea.
Do you recall when you made it?
No.
Can you read into the record what you wrote? Sure.
I'm really not comfortable reading it.
Uh-oh.
It's your handwriting, so...
Give it to me, I'll look at it.
What's this letter?
Can you tell us the gist of what you were writing?
Oh God! Wait, is this from?
A letter just expressing my feelings towards my husband.
Uh-oh.
And what feelings do you recall expressing?
Those seem like positive feelings to me, but I don't know when it was written or the context.
All right, so...
And for the record, that portion of what you're trying to refresh your recollection with of that page seems to be a letter and not a ledger or accounting of money.
I will have him testify to it, Your Honor.
I just want to make sure the record was clear. I was under the impression by your questions that that was a ledger.
It may be my misunderstanding, Your Honor, but I'll have Mr. McDonald clear it up. Now, when you took the cash from the safe, did you count it up?
Not at the house, but yes, I did count it.
And so you didn't know how much you were taking out when you took out the cash?
No, I did not until I ran and put it somewhere safe.
And it just happened to be $2,000 even?
Yes, I mean, it may have been a little bit less than that. I don't remember, but it was somewhere around the ballpark of $2,000.
Okay, so you're changing your testimony now. Earlier you said it was $2,000, correct?
Yes.
And what did you do with that cash once you took it out?
I deposited it into my own bank account that I opened.
Do we have any bank records relating to that?
I do.
Oh.
We have them.
Okay, so this might. Okay, so it sounds like what he's alluding to is that he's trying to allude that she may have taken community assets and put it into her own separate bank account. That's not good. Again, that's what he's alluding to. But if that's true, that's not good.
I'm here today.
I'm not sure what you have and what you don't have.
Well, have you provided them to your attorney to submit to the court?
I have.
And so you would expect they would be part of your 28 exhibits to be submitted to the court? Would that be your expectation?
This is we're still in the middle of the divorce, thanks, Paul.
Can I approach the witness, show her this as an excerpt exhibit book placed before?
Do we have exhibit books? Exhibit books?
We don't have an extra exhibit book. Can I approach her then?
Let's take a brief recess. We need them all back for today. Counsel approach. You can go off the record. All right, we're back on the record. Ma'am, why don't you come on back up? Counsel, go ahead.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
Please.
And my intent is to just basically cover matters raised and reserve the right to call her in.
Certainly.
All right, so you were telling us about your educational background. You have a bachelor's degree, you said? And where did
You
you?
have to answer out loud, yes or no, just because we're recording it. Thank you. Go ahead.
Where did you obtain that degree?
UNLV.
When did you graduate?
In 2008.
And what was your field of study?
Communication.
And when did you and Michael first meet?
I graduated August of 2008, so we must have met in 2008 or 2009.
How long did you date each other before you married?
9 months.
Now you testified in direct examination At some point, Michael told you that he's bipolar.
Correct.
When did he tell you that?
Wait, so he's got the actual bipolar diagnosis, but he's been accusing her of having it? Okay. All right.
I believe he told me that he told me that once we were engaged.
Well, your direct testimony is while you were dating.
Okay.
But still, you haven't told me when he told you that.
Like at what specific time or where?
Approximately, Christmas. It was cold. It was summer. We were on vacation. Anything that you remember about it?
I just remember it being a conversation at his house. I remember it being cold. I just remember him not giving me very many details about it.
Okay. Well, wouldn't you ask for details if somebody told you something like that?
Well, I guess the thing that I saw was that he seemed very normal, and my understanding of bipolar was depression and like periods of being hyper and manic, and so I never saw Michael be depressed, and so I didn't think, he said, oh, I don't take medication, it was a stressful period of my life, it was one time.
So this person...
What was one time?
Tells you that they're bipolar, and you're not concerned to ask for any further details.
Well, I did once we.
Oh wow, they're right. The order was off. Darn it, Brad, you're correct. The order was off. Whoops. This is the 16th hearing. We jumped the gun.
Oh, there's more to this story than just the one time or what was going on at that point.
How much later was that?
I would say we were married after a year and a half, so at that point, around 10 months of dating, I found out when we were planning our wedding, I found out he was receiving benefits.
The only evidence that you can present to this court to support your claim that Michael's bipolar is your say-so. You have no records that back it up, do you?
No, I don't have records.
You've had plenty of time to obtain records in preparation for this case, haven't you?
I think it was an issue of not signing a HIPAA release form, is what I was told.
I was literally about to say that, but she said that. I really wondering whether or not she would be able to access those records, because HIPAA is extremely strict. You have to explicitly say, like, if you have a spouse, that would allow them to get access to their medical records. If not, HIPAA is extremely strict. You can't just, even if you can show that you're married, if your significant other doesn't have you on a release, they're not going to disclose it.
You have no records here today to support your claim, do you? And you have claimed that Michael committed domestic battery on you. That's your claim. We have no police record that would corroborate any of that, do we?
Unfortunately, no.
And you tried to explain that by saying and testifying earlier that Michael would not allow you to leave to call the police.
He wouldn't let me leave at all, and especially not to call the police.
And at some point you were able and free to call the police. At some point you left.
Yes, after I threatened to run to a neighbor or scream bloody murder or,
And you didn't call the police.
See you later, Rico.
Either, did you?
I did meet with a domestic violence advocate.
Then you can answer my questions. I didn't ask.
I'm sorry, can you ask
Not
me?
call the police.
Not then, no.
Not at any time. We don't have any records that show that you documented with the police any claim of being abused.
Yes, and I should have.
And we don't have any photographs of any marks or abrasions to your body that would support any claim of being domestically abused.
I agree, yes, I should have.
We don't have any witnesses that would be coming here to court today to say, I saw Michael strike.
I have witnesses here today who know, know about the abuse.
I'm asking about know about.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, if you again, you have to. I'm trying my best to look at this, from a lawyer's perspective. That's exactly what I was going to say. I didn't ask you whether or not you have somebody who could testify to the abuse. I'm asking whether or not you have any witnesses who saw my client strike you or abuse you. That's the question, not whether somebody else could testify to what you told them about the abuse.
About the abuse. Do you have anyone here that will say that they saw Michael strike you?
No, he never hit me.
Okay, he never hit you. Okay. When do you?
I know. I know that, Griff. I know the instances of domestic violence. I'm just saying that his attorney's asking. His attorney's asking the appropriate questions to give to sell the narrative that she's making up the allegations. She's this, that, and the other, and that she has no evidence to corroborate her allegations. That's what he's doing, which is what he's supposed to be doing. He's his attorney. You know, it is what it is.
Abusive too. When did that first occur?
When Mason was 2 months old.
And that would have been what year and month approximately?
August or September of 2011.
Could you look at Exhibit H before you? It begins at date stamp, page 53. Do you review pages 53 through 56? Can you tell the court what those are?
They are Facebook posts that I made.
Move for admission of Exhibit H, Your Honor.
Counsel, any objection? Be admitted.
If we look at page 53, and actually I believe 54 has a more complete account. August 4, 2014, could you read what you wrote about Michael?
Watching Michael McDonald love on Malia yesterday at church made me a bit emotional. Growing up, I had a strained relationship with my dad. It brings me great comfort and joy to know that my children will never grow up wondering if their dad loves or cares for them. What a gift I have found in you, Michael.
What concerning Michael with regards to Malia at that time that led you to make that post?
It was the picture of him holding her.
That's the one on page 53? And then above that, on August 9, 2014, you wrote, when a woman is loved well, she blossoms?
Yes.
Yeah. Could you explain your comments there?
It was just a quote that I read in a book and thought it was nice.
Well, were you feeling well loved at that time? So you just picked a quote at random to post, not to express.
Oh, I agree with you there, Griff. Yeah, I agree with you there, Griff. It's the barriers and the barriers and the complications with women going towards reporting domestic abuse are pretty stark. The barriers and the stigma against men reporting domestic abuse against their female partner has to be even higher. The stigma has to be exponentially higher given our current culture right now. Yeah. So it's pretty bad for women. It's probably even worse for men to be able to come forward and report.
I actually posted that because...
If you could go to page 55.
All right, CT, take care.
13. What did you post?
Happy birthday to the most caring, loving, hardworking daddy and husband.
And that was referring to who?
Oh, Michael.
I don't doubt it, Deacon. I mean...
I teach 12th grade.
And what's your school?
Bonanza High School.
What's your schedule, work-wise?
It's changed this year, but Our report time is 7:05, except for twice a week we have to report at 6:30, and then we're off at 2:15.
And you said that's changed?
Oh, just the 2 mornings that we have. That's extra this year, where we have to go in at 6:30 twice.
Who watches the children when you were going in?
Yeah, we did, Robert. That's exactly what I was thinking too. Actually.
You know, as far as the daycare, this daycare that you were talking about actually had to add more staff because of the number of children they had there, didn't they?
I'm not aware of any ads.
Are you aware of them having any developmentally challenged children under their care?
They have 2 separate schools. On one side is the preschool, and on the other side they do have, it's an elementary program up through high school that work with children with special needs.
You mentioned at one point Michael, the children returned from a visit with Michael with a rash.
Mm-hmm.
Have the children ever gotten a rash while under your care?
A diaper rash. Malia's had a diaper rash on a few occasions.
And didn't the children get foot and mouth disease from daycare?
I'm not certain where they got it, but yeah, both of my children have had hand, foot, and mouth disease.
When did they have that?
Mason had it once when he was in, I don't know, maybe a year and a half, and then Malia had it again once this year as well.
And do you take any responsibility for them obtaining that?
I'm sorry?
Do you take any responsibility for them obtaining foot and hand?
Me? Like, me giving that to them? No.
Did anything you do cause them to contact that?
I mean, not that I'm aware. I mean, I'm a sanitary person, so.
As far as daycare, do you consider the fact that children can obtain illnesses and such from attending daycare?
Oh, sure, yeah, I know that happens.
So, when your daughter came home with a rash after a visit with her father, you said Michael couldn't tell you where it came from.
Correct.
And is there some reason he would have special knowledge of where a rash that occurs on a child comes from?
It was just alarming because it was from head to toe, and that he hadn't noticed that she was covered in a rash. That was more my concern. I guess less about where it came from and more about why he didn't get medical care for it.
And you weren't there during his time visiting with
No.
children, so you don't know whether he noticed or not, do you?
Oh, he told me he didn't notice she had a rash on a text message.
And do we have that text message here today?
It may be. I don't have it in front of me.
Are you as far as your health? Are you presently under the care of any physicians, psychiatrists, psychologists, counselors?
I have seen a counselor, yes.
And who are you under the care of?
Her name is Nancy Caldwell.
And she's a marriage and family therapist?
Correct.
How long have you been seeing her?
I began seeing her when we had couples counseling. She would do, her husband was seeing us as a couple first, and then when Michael and I separated.
The question was how long? I don't mean to be abrupt, but we have limited time.
So probably when we separated, which would be May of 2014.
And one of the reasons you've seen the counselors because you have difficulty managing stress.
Correct.
And you've also had problems with fatigue. Caldwell didn't assist you for treatment for fatigue? What problems do you have handling stress?
Just feeling like particularly the marital stress and then the stress of the divorce and the stalking and the constant text messaging and the never leaving me alone and showing up where I'm at and pretty much just coping with dealing with someone with a mental illness.
What about stress in your professional life?
What I don't.
Don't you have stress as a teacher?
Yeah, I mean, there's stressors being a teacher, of course, yes.
I can imagine a 12th grade teacher might have.
Maybe so, you are. You were asked about your consumption of alcohol by your counsel, and you would consider yourself a social drinker, correct?
No.
You haven't posted that you're a social drinker on your media post?
No.
Okay, if you could look at Exhibit L, beginning of date stamp 63. And you recognize this, do you not?
Yes.
And can you tell the court what this is?
This is my Match.com dating account.
And you've posted that you're a social drinker on this account, have you not?
I did, but honestly, I don't know that I really focused on. There were only a few options, so I may have clicked on that. I don't know. I wasn't really thinking much about it.
There was a time when you went up to a wedding rehearsal at Mount Charleston, correct?
Yes.
And that was, I imagine, like most wedding rehearsals where alcohol was served?
No.
No alcohol served?
I mean, they have a bar there, but there was no alcohol served.
And you wrecked your car at that time, didn't you?
I did have an accident. Yes, it was snowing.
Now, if you also use marijuana, correct?
Once.
When did you use marijuana?
When I was
Yeah, true.
at a wedding reception.
And when was that?
Maybe July of last year or the year before. I think it was July 2 years ago.
So that would be
2014.
and it made you feel, as you noted in your journal, fucking fantastic, correct?
I wrote that, yes, but
Well, you wrote that because it was true, right?
I was feeling a lot of different mixed emotions at that time.
Are you saying that this thing that made you feel so fantastic, you've only done once?
Yes, absolutely.
You and Michael separated in May, I think you said 2014, wasn't it 2015?
No.
You separated in May of 2014?
Yes.
When did you file for divorce?
That following July.
That same month that you separated, whether it was 2014 or 2015, you went to Chicago, didn't you?
It wasn't the same month. No, we separated in May, and then July is when I took the trip.
And you were gone for approximately 5 days? How long were you gone for?
It was the weekend. Friday, Saturday, I returned home Sunday.
And when you left for Chicago, you left the children in the care of Michael McDonald, isn't that true?
Yes.
So you had no concerns about going off to Chicago and leaving them
No, I had
with their father?
concerns. I had concerns. And looking
The
back,
concerns did not keep you from leaving the children with their father, correct? You would agree with that, wouldn't you?
I'm sorry, can you ask me again?
The concerns, whatever they were, did not keep you from leaving the children with their father.
I did leave, yes.
Have you ever used alcohol to the point of becoming intoxicated during the course of your marriage to Michael?
Not that I can recall.
You have previously been diagnosed with a condition called PMDD? About postpartum depression?
No.
You've been diagnosed with depression?
No.
Have you ever been diagnosed with any mental condition?
No.
Besides the therapist, Ms. Caldwell, have you seen any other professionals for mental health treatment?
No. No, we did see other counselors for counseling, but as a marital unit.
So, Mason was born in June of 2011, and you were teaching school by August of 2012, correct?
Yes.
And after then, you testified you were principally in charge of caring for Mason. Was it in fact daycare that was principally in charge of
After I went back to work? Yes. Well, I don't believe that the daycare raises my children. I mean, when I come home, I feed them, bathe them, clothe them, read to them. So, I mean, during the day while I worked, yes, they were at daycare. Mason was at daycare.
And when their dad came home from work, he would care for them as well.
No.
Oh.
Now, you testified concerning this prolapsed rectum that your daughter recently was diagnosed with.
Yes.
And you kind of laughed when you testified about Michael asking you if she had a male babysitter.
I don't think that's funny at all, actually. So if I laughed, it's probably because I'm nervous. But no, I do
Isn't
not.
it a legitimate question that a male could cause that type of damage if he was
I am disgusted that someone would ever suggest that someone did that to my child and that I would leave somebody in the care to hurt my child that way. So yes, I am offended by that comment. And I'm sorry, but when I map out a whole bunch of stuff, this is what she needs for her care, this is what we're doing, and the first response to that is, did a male watch your child? Like, not like, how is she or what is she going to do?
Happen?
Oh no, I'm aware that that happens, but I would never leave anyone in the care that would ever hurt my children. Which is why I'm here today. It's exactly why I'm here today.
Thank you. You've answered my question. Do you smoke?
No.
You used to smoke, correct?
I did used to smoke.
When did you stop smoking?
She hit that Zaza.
I stopped smoking when Michael had a problem with it.
When was that?
Before we were married.
Oh, smoking.
In February of 2016, you asked Michael to reconcile.
I'm sorry?
In February of 2016, you asked Michael to reconcile.
No, I have not asked Michael to reconcile.
Do you have any type of criminal record? Do you have any plans to relocate in the future?
No.
Now, the fistula that you and Michael disagreed about is concerning treatment, as you testified to. In fact, Michael had that as well when he was a baby, correct?
That's what his mom said.
And he didn't have surgery for it, did he?
I have no idea.
And what the doctors told you to do is to monitor it and...
Your Honor. This is what the doctors told her.
You're saying next question.
Your Honor. The doctors didn't immediately recommend surgery, did they?
No, they asked us to do a more conservative approach, which would be the oral antibiotic from the shop first, which is what we tried first.
And you testified that Malia had a musculum, I think you called it?
Yeah.
Musculum. And you were treating that with some type of seed oil?
A tea tree oil, yes, that's what was suggested by my pediatrician.
The incident that you testified to where Mason had a cut on his head, the cut was not as you described in your direct testimony, but was noted by the doctors to be a small laceration. Isn't that true?
It needed a staple. It had to be closed.
It was noted in
to
the
me, as a-
medical records as a small laceration, wasn't it? You look at base stamp page, I believe it's 60.
Which binder?
That would be your binder. It might be black if it's like mine. And they describe
Sorry, I didn't hear the tab.
page base stamp 60. The tab would be B. It indicates that the laceration was small. You see that under additional HPI notes?
Well, it doesn't indicate the laceration was small. It says patient's mom reports the laceration as small.
And they noted that Mason denied any loss of consciousness or nausea, anything like that, correct?
Correct.
And in your previous filings with this court, you've indicated that as a result of that, he had stitches, correct?
I'm not sure. I know that I don't know. I'm not sure. I know when we were at the hospital, he had a staple.
Okay, one staple.
A staple, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you would think that they would plan this, but
Now, some of these incidents where you say Michael was physically abusive, you've actually been physically abusive towards him. You pointed a gun at him, haven't you?
No.
You have struck him
What?
with punches.
I've defended myself.
Well, how did you defend yourself?
In the times where he was on top of me, I would push, hit, kick, whatever I needed to do to get out from underneath him or away from him. I would do whatever it took to try to get away and to get out of the house.
And you also previously testified he's never hit you.
He never hit me, no. I still agree with that. He choked me, pushed me, grabbed my wrist, screamed in my face, held me down, sat
Talked
on me.
about caring for.
Which is fair. I mean, there's a difference between striking and choking, holding, restraining, pinning somebody down. Yes, I guess that's true. That is true. It's not the same thing as like striking somebody.
Children, and you say you cook for them.
Yes.
Your father can cook for them too. Can you not?
I'm sure he can, but he didn't when we were married.
So, you left these children to go off to Chicago. You expected they would be fed.
I also had a
Now, if you can answer my question, you expected they would be fed.
yes, but I pre-made meals for them, so I made the meals.
Witness could to answer my.
So, on cross-examination, he's going to ask you a lot of really pointed questions, and a lot of the answers are going to be yes or no. Your attorney's going to, in about 2 minutes, have the opportunity to ask you some questions that might clarify those points.
Okay, sure.
And you attend college during the course of the marriage after you had children?
I did take a few classes, yes.
You took them at night?
That's a good question, Judy. I don't know.
Well, you were at night school, isn't that right?
Not always.
At least sometimes, correct?
Sometimes, yes, sometimes.
And during what period of time was that?
When I was pregnant with Malia, I took a class.
When Malia had the incident straining on the toilet and suffered the injury that she did you notify Michael?
I did by talking parents.
And you had some medical records where you took her to urgent care in Oceanside. Did you notify Michael that you were taking the children out of state? And I assume that you would want this court to order that you be notified if their father ever takes them out of state. Correct?
Yes, yes.
That is an important point for a parent to know where their children are. Would you not agree?
Yes.
Yeah, you testified that you were subjected to psychological abuse, I believe the term used during the course of the marriage. You're not a psychiatrist or psychologist, correct?
Correct.
And when you use that term psychological abuse, how are you defining it?
As in, like, what?
Yeah, I fully believe that.
I do. I mean, I'm just saying.
What do you think it means? And when you use it in the relationship to how you're testifying today, what do you mean by that term?
Power, control, loss of myself, inability to make decisions on my own without approval, rules, laws that I had to live by without consequence, just things that were said to me that were traumatizing, things that were done to me that were traumatizing.
You mentioned the rituals. You said turn off the lights. It's kind of a waste of your money if you have lights on that you don't need, correct?
Yes.
And if
I feel like she needs to elaborate, and her attorney's probably going to ask her to elaborate more. But yeah, he's trying to trivialize it, like as though the level of control was simply asking her to turn off the lights when they're not being used. I'm going to throw it. I'm going to guess that the what she defines as abusive control is going to involve more than just that.
a parent or husband felt that deodorants or candles or whatever might be being used in the household were harmful.
Oh God, why? Ah!
Brad A. Solas just donated 100. They said.
Thank you, Brad, for the $100 tip. You guys have been very, very generous to me today. I really do appreciate it. I don't deserve it at all, but I still appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Oh my God, I need to go find my cat again. Let me see if he's out.
Do something about it. Try to keep it from being used.
Am I allowed to explain? Or
No, I'm just asking you yes or no.
I'm sorry. Can you ask me again? I'm sorry.
If a parent or a husband felt that products that were being used in the household could be harmful to their children or to their spouse, you would expect them to say something about it and not want them to be used.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the finding pictures in your car this week, you have no personal knowledge of how those pictures got there. You can only speculate.
Correct.
And what time did you discover? I think you said in the morning. What time?
It was around 9 a.m.
Nope.
When had you last been in your car previously?
I parked it about 8 p.m. the night before.
Where did you park it?
In my condo parking lot.
Is that a secured condominium?
It's gate secured, yes.
And this car, which car was it?
The SUV that is in both of our.
And does that have multiple seats?
Thank you, Brad.
Yes.
Seats that fold down, fold up?
Yes.
And there's a third row in it that's never used?
Correct.
It's getting a bit late, guys, so when I feel like there's a good chance to break, I'll break for the night.
People would gamble and at times would disappear for stretches. You've never set forth that allegation in any of your prior papers filed with this court, have you?
I don't believe so.
Mentioned that Michael showed up at your gym. That's the YMCA.
Yes.
It's also Michael's gym, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Michael,
No, it's not?
The YMCA to your knowledge?
When we separated, we decided that that would be my gym and that he would do another gym. So they took his, we took his name off the account, and he, as far as I'm aware, went to LVAC.
You don't know what he did after?
No, I just know that we agreed, and I took him off the account. And that the day that he came in, he snuck in without scanning his card.
Again, I didn't ask you that. And do you have personal knowledge? Did you see him do that?
Yes.
Oh, no! Oh, whoops.
Do you have any persons that you associate
Bad
with
question.
around the children?
Yes,
Who would that be?
friends or family.
Do you have a friend named Jordan?
No.
Did you previously have a friend named Jordan?
For a very brief time, yes.
And Jordan was around your children?
No, never.
Is there any reason Jordan wasn't around your children?
I have a boundary that no one will meet my children until
Yes, this is going to be a continuing series.
my children, besides family.
We're
It's a boundary for me.
definitely not going to leave it just here.
Jordan? Did Jordan use drugs to your knowledge?
No.
Is he bipolar?
Yes, Jordan was bipolar.
You said that when you found the Valentine's Day card in your car, there was a TPO in effect. That's not true, is it?
I believe the TPO ran out on the 27th of February, and the gifts were in my car the Friday before Valentine's Day, which would have made it.
Didn't the TPO expire in December,
No,
actually?
I think it was July to February, or August to February. It was 6 months. So July, August.
You're not sure here on the scan whether the TPO was in place or not, are you?
I'm almost certain it was in place.
And we don't have any documentation. You've got exhibits here. Is the TPO that was in force in effect among your exhibits?
Well, Council T15-165523T was extended. It
Was that it?
August 17th, 2015, and it expired February.
Yeah. Okay.
17th, 2000.
Oh, no. She's checking the date. The date a previous TPO expired.
16.
Yeah. Now, at some point during the marriage, you and Michael purchased a home, correct? And you agreed to purchase that home? And are you telling this court that you agreed to purchase a home in an area you thought was bad?
It's gotten much worse over the years, so
When did you purchase the home?
4 or 5 years ago.
Just 4 or 5 years, it's gotten much worse.
Yes.
Awesome.
Talk about helicopters being overhead. That is near the North Las Vegas airport, is it not?
No.
Kind of, but all right. The court knows where it is.
All right, thank you.
Judicial notice. All right, even I'm starting to get really annoyed by his whispering.
Custody of the children, isn't that true?
I should try to tolerate this whole time. Oh my god. Shut up.
Only when it's
After a hearing in December where the court expanded the time for Michael to see the children out there in the hallway, you told him he wasn't going to see the children for the holidays, didn't you? Are you aware that you acknowledged that in prior pleadings? So at no time outside the courtroom after a hearing did you ever say that Michael could not see the children?
I do not recall. I don't remember saying that.
You have denied Michael trips to the Duck Creek with his family, correct?
Oh, the court for sure did that.
The
Here. So
yeah.
I'll full blame for
This
that.
year.
Next question.
About Did you tell Mason that Daddy's head doesn't work right?
No, Mason told that to me.
What? Hmm.
You've denied Michael the opportunity to see the children on his birthday. Is that true?
Not originally, no.
You'd agreed that he could see the children for the birthday.
Yes, but then he threatened to keep them overnight, and that was not our custody agreement. So, and it was during my time, and so we were like, you know, these are the hours that we'll agree to, and he was supposed to return the kids by 8 p.m., and he said that he wanted to keep them overnight until the morning, which I wasn't comfortable with.
You have denied Michael the ability to see the children when he's denied your request for money. Isn't that right? You testified that you feel like the children would be constantly in danger.
Yes.
When you saw the TPO, you didn't seek a TPO for the children, did you?
I did, yeah, both times. The second time they told me that since we already had...
I don't want to hear what they told you that. So you're claiming in your application for TPO you asked for protection for the children? Is that?
The first one, yes.
Was the TPO, to your knowledge, extended as to the children?
No, just mine.
And that first TPO you applied for when?
I don't remember the exact date. I believe it was in July.
This is 1 and 2. Oh, no, there's no.
I don't think from the excerpts that they said in the emails, Deacon asked, correct me if I'm wrong, in his prior emails, did he threaten the kids too? If I recall from the excerpts that they had in the emails, I don't think he threatened the kids. It was anything that sounded like a threat was all directed at her, not the kids, as far as I recall.
July 2014, maybe. The same time that the...
You've cut off the power twice to the Maynard address?
No. Well, when I moved out, I moved power to my house.
And you cut off power to the Maynard address?
Correct, which is what we agreed on.
And it caused spoilage of food?
I'm not aware of what happened.
This fistula that Mason had, wasn't it in fact compared to a pimple?
No, it's a cyst.
Cysts can
You don't
happen.
dispute that the children love their father, do you?
Oh no, I know they love him very much.
They deserve a relationship with their father.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
And you don't dispute that Michael loves his children, do
No,
you?
I know he loves them very much.
Does Mason presently have any male role models in his life?
Yes.
Who would that be?
My stepdad and my brothers.
That's not the same thing as having a father, is it?
No, it's not.
No.
So, when you
I mean, yeah, they're right. Kids deserve to have a father. No question about it. The problem is whether or not the father is capable of acting in that role. That's the issue.
say that you would want supervised visitation at this time, who would do the supervision?
I'm just learning about supervised visitation, so I know that there are programs or people that do that.
So you don't know at this point.
I don't have a place picked out, no.
You previously threatened to commit suicide, have you not?
No.
Never?
No.
Mr. McDonald's never abducted your children, has he?
No, but he's threatened to.
And you've posted on social media matters concerning this case, have you not?
No. I don't believe so. I really have tried to keep it private.
Well, didn't you post?
I think didn't she already allude to it already?
Pictures of your children under the name Candace Rink?
Have I posted pictures of my children?
Yes.
On my Facebook?
On any social media?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
And you posted a picture of them in relation to your comments about your case. Isn't that true?
I'm not really sure what you're talking about.
You didn't post on social media about having a fuse in your car?
I don't.
A what?
Would you agree that's not a wise thing to do, to open up to the public about your children and their lives?
I feel like Facebook is a free place to post things that I like and picture. I mean, I'm careful about what I post. I wouldn't.
Are you on any medication?
I see.
Have you been on any medications during the course of the marriage? Has Michael been on any medications during the course of the marriage?
I'm not aware. It's been suggested, but I'm not aware if he took them or not.
Well, and you in fact made a prior representation suggesting to this court that he was not taking his medications, correct?
Yeah, it was suggested that he should take medication. Whether he did or not.
That he wasn't taking any medications for him not to take when you made that representation to the court.
While we were married, he did not take medication. When we were separated, he was telling me that he was going to work a treatment plan and get on medication. I don't know if he did that or not.
But your representation to the court was misleading, was it not? Because he wasn't taking any medications when you made that representation.
I'm not really sure what exactly I said.
You're gonna have to prove that.
You'd have to prove that. He whispers under his breath.
You have some anger issues as well, correct?
No.
You caused that during the course of the marriage by throwing things?
No.
You damaged the house?
No.
He's like Michael's trying to get the attorney to throw in everything in the kitchen, everything including the kitchen sink. The thing is like he's allowed to because ultimately these questions are relevant. In this situation, how were they acting as a couple? What were her flaws? Whether she was engaging in some kind of abuse. Even if he's completely pulling stuff out of his ass, they're all still relevant questions at the end of the day, even if they're blatantly there's no grounds for them at all. That's why you're not going to hear her attorney object nor the judge object, because ultimately, even if they're baseless questions, they're still relevant.
Have you ever argued with Michael in front of the children?
We may have argued, yeah, in front of the kids.
Involved you yelling in front of the children?
If I ever yelled, it was only to get away from him. But it was never directed ever at my children, and I tried my best to keep them as far away as possible.
Would you agree that you and Michael are presently incompatible in marriage? You're incompatible in marriage?
Yes.
You two have separated, so you no longer live together as man and wife?
Yes, correct.
There's no chance for reconciliation?
No, not at all.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Anything else briefly, counsel?
Yeah, just a couple things real quick, Your Honor.
All right.
You have a social media account, Candace? What else do you have?
Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat.
And what do you typically use those accounts for?
Instagram, I use to post pictures. Snapchat is just for filters. And then Facebook is just, things that I believe, things that I care about. Sometimes I post pictures of the kids, things I'm passionate about teaching, or things like that.
So you're understanding that these sites are used to post things about family, about friends?
Yes.
About life experiences?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You were asked a question about taking the children out of state. Do you recall that question?
Mm-hmm.
Do you recall when that was?
When I took them out of state? I left after I received a call saying that Michael's attorney had...
The question was when she left?
She said after. All right, so approximately when? We're looking for a month.
It would have been maybe the first week of July.
Okay.
Do you recall if there was a court order in place at that time?
Yes.
Was Michael's visitation suspended at that time?
Yes.
Were you awarded sole physical custody of the children?
Yes.
And you've also talked about the structure and some things that you were precluded from doing when you were with Michael, whether it be turning off lights or doing anything that way. And you were asked a question if you believed it was proper for a parent to want to get harmful things out of the house. Do you believe that deodorant is harmful?
No.
Do you believe any of the fears or harmful fears that Michael had were rational?
Deodorant.
Okay. You were also asked if you had ever pointed a gun at Michael. Do you recall that question? Have you ever pointed a gun at Michael? No. Have there ever been any issues where Michael has wanted you to hold a gun?
Yes.
And what happened in that situation?
Wait, what?
And I don't want to be around them. And Michael's like, here, hold this gun. And it's like loaded. And I'm like, I don't want to hold the gun. I don't want to hold the gun. He's like, hold the gun. And I'm like, I don't want to hold it. He's like, I want to train you how to hold it. And so I took the gun and I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. He's like, why are you pointing it at me? And I'm like, I'm not. I don't even know what to do with this. I don't want them in the house. I don't want them around me. I didn't want to. I felt pressured into holding it. I was definitely not aiming it at him. I just held it.
Wow. Man, if that's true, what a Weasley statement, Dad.
Which I believe was in July of last year. 2 years ago. What was the purpose of that trip to Chicago?
It was my best friend's wedding reception in Chicago.
Were you in any way in charge of the reception or helping out?
Yes,
What
I
was
was
your role?
maid of honor.
You were also questioned about wrecking your car coming down Charleston Canyon, correct? Had you been drinking at all that night?
No.
Did you in fact slide off the road that night?
I did.
Okay. And what happened after you slid off the road?
The state trooper came and parked behind me and asked me if I knew how to drive in the snow, and I told him no.
Clearly no.
So he explained that, like, when you're driving in the snow, you have to pump your brakes.
Okay, I don't want to hear the whole thing.
So So a state trooper showed up.
Yes.
Okay. Did the state trooper have somebody else drive your car?
No.
Okay. Did he allow you to continue driving your car?
Yes.
Was he at all concerned that you may have been drinking?
No.
And is that because you, in fact, had not been drinking?
Correct.
There we go.
And you were questioned about a dating site post where it's posted that you're a social drinker.
Mm-hmm.
Did you actually type out social drinker?
It's a drop-down menu, I believe.
And what is your definition of what a social drinker would be?
I guess.
It means,
now and then, I guess when you go out.
it means when you go out to a bar on a Friday or on a Sunday, or when you're hanging with the boys or hanging with the girls, or or when you want to drown your sorrows when the Cowboys lose. I mean, social drinking.
Out with a friend, you have a drink. That would be a social setting. I guess that would be social drinking.
And is it your testimony that you don't even consider yourself a social drinker now?
Yeah, I rarely drink.
Do you recall when you separated from Michael?
Yes.
When was that?
May of 2014.
Are you sure it's 2014 or was it 2015?
It wasn't this May, it was the last May, so 2015. Sorry.
And then you were questioned. I'll direct you to Exhibit H in Plaintiff and Defendant's binder. Questioned about several photos or Facebook posts. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And these posts are dated October of 2013, correct?
Yes.
In 2014.
Yes.
So in August 9th, you're specifically questioned about a post from August 9th, 2014, which reads, "When a woman is loved, well, she blossoms."
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And at that time, were you still together with Michael?
Yes.
And were you still at that time trying to save your marriage?
Yes, I was.
Okay. You guys were going to counseling, correct?
Yes.
And so all of these posts was at a time you were going to counseling, but you were still trying to save your marriage, correct?
Yes.
And circumstances have changed since then, correct?
Yes.
Of course they am.
You were also questioned about Malia and Mason receiving hand, foot, and mouth disease.
Yes.
Okay. Who took them to the doctor to receive treatment for that? Okay. Did Michael seek treatment at all? Did he provide medications at all? Who was primarily responsible for that? And do you believe that your kids are flourishing at the daycare?
Yes.
And you've testified that it's your belief and understanding that your kids love Michael, correct? And you believe there's no question that he loves his kids, correct? But do you believe that Michael is capable of being an adequate parent to your children?
Nope.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Counsel, anything else?
As far as, deodorants and waxes, did Michael tell you about reading studies that called into question some of their safety? Have you ever undertaken any type of research, looked at any studies as to whether those items might be dangerous? That's all I have, Your Honor.
Anything else, counsel? All right, thank you. Counsel, who do you have next? And as an offer of proof, what are they going to testify to? We're getting late in the day. I'd like it not to be cumulative.
We'll call Dan Dixon as our next expert.
And who's that?
Dan is Candace's stepfather.
Okay.
He will testify as to recent conversations he's had with Michael in violation of court orders. He will also talk regarding lateness of drop-offs and pickups, and also regarding a tracking device that was placed in Candace's car that he assisted.
Yeah, that's about right.
All right.
All right, I think that's the best perfect spot to stop. I think we're gonna continue on with this on Friday. Yeah. But before we get back on this, I will Wonder Woman has sent me some updated documentation. There are new court updates in the Rise of the Moors case. It's actually still going on. Not everybody got their cases dismissed, including Mr. Head Honcho. We all know that he made a stink about his case being dismissed, but according to the documentation that Wonder Woman sent me, he definitely has a trial next year, or early next year. So That's supposed to be scheduled. So we're going to go a little bit into detail of that, and then we're going to go right back into this. Okay, guys? But I want to thank you guys for dropping in, Biggin, and all you guys. Thank you so much for the raid. Thank you, all of you, for your donations, your memberships, your tips, your well wishes, your condolences. They're always good. They're always helpful. Thank you, guys. And I will see you guys next time. No stream tomorrow, but we will be back Friday. All right? Take care. Adios.